It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Texas head coach DeMeco Ryans has one question for the media. You good?
What's big Sarge? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuned to the Texans Happy Hour. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports, the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texans Tailgate Talk YouTube channel, all one word, Texans Tailgate Talk. Follow me at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Feels good to be back. Thank you all for welcoming me back. No, I don't have a drink. It's just strictly just orange juice. Let me turn this around because wait a minute. Hold on now. Let me do it like this because they are not sponsoring me. So unless they want me to, because I can be like Minute Maid. The juice of champions. What's going on, y'all? I have a special guest. You know what? Let me take that back, y'all. Let me take y'all back. Because that's the BS people do when they be like, oh, man, I got a special guest in the building. Hell no, man. We got family in the building today, man. We got family in the building. Look. Y'all know him as, but I know him as the Sixth Temptation. And it's almost your time. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. In my mind, that's my part, B. That's my part. That is, well, I love that part. In my mind.
Hey man, I appreciate it. But hey, a family indeed, dog. I appreciate that for that introduction, man. It don't feel like a guest. It feel like home. Get to put my feet up a little bit, and we're gonna talk like family too today, Sarge. I'm glad you introduced me that way, because man, dare I say, like obviously you were there for everything that's taking place over the last few days with the Texans.
I wasn't there on Monday.
Okay.
Fred VanVleet spoke for the first time since his surgery. So I was over at the the Houston Rockets practice facility. So
I
said, look at what now. See, this what happened when you know what I'm saying? When I ain't there, now all this gotta go down like this. Come on now.
Hey, well, I'm interested to get into it with you because I thought it was bizarre and weird from a number of different ways. But we got to talk about this, me and you, Sarge, because I feel like you unintentionally are the genesis of this whole thing, and I'm pretty sure you know why. Because a lot of it comes off the heels on an answer that he gave to you. I think is what prompted everybody else to start asking more questions about this, which I don't necessarily understand why they felt the need to do that. We can get into it. But that's why I'm very excited to talk to you today or tonight about this, because I feel like even though neither one of us was there on Monday when this kind of went left and got weird, I do feel like the genesis of it is something that you were talking about, but not in this way. You know what I mean? Like something that you asked about and that he answered now ended up turning into something a little bit different with other people.
Facts. Exactly, B. And that's what we're going to get into that a little bit later on, because I actually have the video queued up, and we're going to, like I said, when we get to that portion of the show, we definitely will talk about it. I will, and let me do this. And let me say this, y'all. Let me do this thing the right way. For those of you all who are new here, let me introduce him the right way. This is Brandon K. Scott, host of the B Block Podcast, sports radio personality for Sports Radio 610. He also does some guest appearances on Locked On Rockets, and he does. What's the other show that you all do with Will and Bradow?
Rockets Collective. That's a new one. We just literally just started that one, but yeah, Rockets Collective. Somewhere around midweek. Yep.
And if you don't know Brandon K. Scott, I don't know where you've been. I mean, he's done multiple television appearances, talking about anything from the Houston Texans to the Houston Rockets to the Houston Astros. This young man right here is a really, really good friend of mine. I'm glad that I get an opportunity and a chance to talk to him at least once a week. And I don't think that a lot of people know that, B, and I won't bring our off the air conversations on here tonight, but a lot of people don't realize that, you and I, we talk, on a consistent basis at least once a week. And once again, for those of you all who are new here, one thing that Brandon and I share in common is something that we're both not happy about, because it continuously, we continuously have to deal with it mentally. We continuously have to grieve. Brandon and I are widowers. I lost my first wife in 2017, and your lovely bride passed away when, B?
2023, August 2023.
August of 2023. And so a lot of the times when we get an opportunity to talk, when we get an opportunity to speak, we're just basically checking on each other, and we hold each other accountable to that at least 1 week conversation. And so that's why I started off the show by saying this isn't just, a media member. This isn't just, somebody you hear on the radio or somebody you see on television. Like, this is family to me. And I treat him as such, and I protect him as such. I mean, if he called me, and it don't matter what time. Now, let me tell you something though, B. The only way I'm gonna know if you call me like after like 9:30, maybe. If you call me after 10:30, you might have to call on multiple times, because let me tell you something. I sleep with gospel music on, right? And the only time I know that my phone, only time I know that something is going on with my phone is if the music stops. So if you call and I don't answer, keep calling, because I'm gonna realize, wait a minute, why the music keep stopping? And then I'm gonna realize, because I'm up at very, 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 very early. So I will extend that invitation to you that you can call me anytime. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna answer all the time.
Hey, look, and likewise, but I say this: if I do call you that late, something is really wrong, Sarge. I really need you, bro. I was, hey, because I'm gonna be asleep myself, or somewhere else, like not in I want to call you kind of mode. Like I would either be asleep or kind of just in my own mood, if you will. So if I'm calling somebody, something terrible has happened. Please answer. Something terrible has happened for sure, man. But I appreciate you saying that, man. And yes, and you're right, man. Those conversations are important to have every week, kind of like just because I think it's easy sometimes, especially for men, to try to run away or like from their problems or whatever, trying not to talk about things. And you and I are both willing to kind of confront things head on and to talk with each other and be each other's support system. So that's an important thing, man. Aside from all of this, that's important to us, what we do, But aside from this, we are obviously people first.
Speaking of what we do, Brandon, our jobs is to make sure that we cover this Houston Texans team, to the best of our abilities, try to give our unbiased opinions, try to make sure that we're giving, the supporters of the B Block podcast and, what you do over at 610 and the supporters of the Texans Tailgate Talk and the Texans Happy Hour. We try to make sure that we give them the best analysis, unbiased opinions, and then just sometimes some downright just good old black barbershop talk. So with that being said, B, The Houston Texans defeated the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 25-16 this past Sunday. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that was the best game that I've seen them play since last year in the wild card against the Los Angeles Chargers. I feel like that was the first time. That is the first time in 7 games I've seen a complete game on both sides of the ball. The Texans offense, and I think that I tweeted this out on Sunday. I mean, for them to control, for the offense to control the time of possession, and have 41 minutes of offensive time and only putting the defense on the field for 18 minutes. That's the type of things that a lot of people don't realize that is going to help the defense, not only in that game, but you're giving them an opportunity to give their bodies rest, and they don't have to go out there and crash into each and everybody. Run into a brick wall over and over and over again at full speed, which it seems like that they do. But B, when you look at the Texans win over the 49ers and the way that offense performed, and we'll dive into details, but just your general overall view of what you saw on Sunday.
Man, I was really just impressed with the fact that they were able. You just touched on this a little bit. I was really impressed with the fact that they were able to possess the ball the way that they did. Right? Like, I think that there is something to be said for the opponent and San Francisco's defense not being particularly good. They didn't have much of a pass rush, and it seemed like C.J. Stroud had more time than usual, when they've played some of these teams that have elite pass rushers, where those guys come from the edge or from the inside. Obviously, with Bosa being hurt and all of just the litany of injuries at the 49ers, it seems like every other year they go through this too, by the way, the 49ers, like they always injured, always hurt. And to their credit, they kind of scrapped their way to some wins and kind of sometimes play above what they should when they're injured like that. But it wasn't happening in the NRG the other day, man. It just was not happening. They did not have the horses on defense to keep up. And certainly, we were talking about this before we started, man. C.J. Stroud, when he has time, is dangerous.
Yes.
I'm talking dangerous when he has time. And I'm not talking about like all day. And he did have at times all day in this case.
Yeah.
But even when he didn't have all day, when there would be like a little pressure or they kind of get to him a little bit, like he can deliver a ball under pressure. You just got to give him enough time to operate, man, and be consistent enough to where he can rely on you, to where like you're not in his head and his feet don't get choppy because there's so much activity, or like just somebody in his lap as soon as he snapped the ball. Like you can't have that. Yeah. You don't have that, okay, which is why I think a lot of people thought with a mediocre offensive line, like if they just tried to put together the offensive line like they did, they just wasn't terrible and the coaching was better, this could work out because CJ is that dude. So that revealed itself, something we already knew, but revealed itself again about CJ. And again, the part about them possessing the ball, like you hit on this, but this is to me where the game was won. It was noticeable, like how it felt like the Texans had the ball the whole game. The whole game.
What I'm like, they still got the ball.
They still got the ball. Like these drives that they had were like 10 plays or more, right? Like it seemed like at every turn they had the ball. And like you mentioned, to have the ball 41 plus minutes to their 18. I think that's a clear and obvious winning formula. So I was glad to see it. I would be honest, man, I did not think, of course, coming off that Monday night game against Seattle, based off of how they played, I didn't have no confidence in them going into this game. I didn't feel like they gave me no reason to have confidence in them based off of that. To play like that with 15 days to prepare after a bye week, to go up there and lay an egg the way they did not give me a lot of confidence that they'd be able to, on a short week, go up against what I thought was a little bit more of a reputable San Francisco team than what ended up showing up. But yeah, I thought it was encouraging. I thought it was at least an encouraging sign.
Yeah. You know what, B? I'm going to say this. I like the way that they played. And for those of you all who will be going on this audio journey with us, I'm going to tell you this show is being streamed live. And so when you hear me refer to the chat, I know you can't see the chat, but at least you're going to hear what I have to read off, because you see that the comments are coming in right now. People in the chat talking, and I'm going to something that the reason why I brought that up, because something over there just piqued my interest, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But when I was on the Texans cookout with DJ Bieneme, Jonathan Alexander, and Chancellor Johnson, one of the things that I said that I really liked the way that offense performed, but they still left a lot on the field too. And because when you're watching it, you don't want to be too greedy. You like, hey man, look, they're getting points. So I think they scored on their first 3 possessions, if I'm not mistaken. 2 of those were field goals, but you look and you was like, hey man, one of those possessions should have ended up in a touchdown. But you don't want to be greedy, because you want to see them perform the way that they're performing, and you want to see them catch the type of rhythm that they need. Because you remember 1 week prior, right tackle Titus Howard told us after the game against the Seahawks, was like, hey, we came out complacent, we came out lethargic, we came out lazy, we didn't start fast, and when we don't start fast, then we don't play well. And I like that they came out, they got the ball first, they held the ball for a very long time, they played well. I just feel like there's still some more that was, some of that stuff was left out on the field, and it could have been a little bit better. But in the chat, Elijah Griffin, dang, how many names you got? How many? Elijah Griffin Curtis 1572. Good Lord. They couldn't. Hey, why you just couldn't be E.G. Curtis? Huh? Why you just couldn't be E.G. Curtis? You gotta be Elijah Griffin.
And he's super specific. You're not gonna confuse him with nobody.
He wants you to call him by his whole name.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just messing with you though. But he said that the Texans have used the 6 offensive linemen, and I don't mind that if they move the ball. And so, the one thing that I like is that they found that, they incorporated that, and they also said, hey, we don't have to make Blake Fisher a starter, but we're going to continue to give him reps to help build his confidence back up from his performance during training camp in the preseason. Because one of the things that I came on here and harped on, and B, I'm pretty sure you said the exact same thing, was that Blake Fisher is not having a great camp. Blake Fisher is not having a great camp. He's being outplayed by rookie Ariante Ursery, and he shouldn't start over him just because he's a veteran. And so I think what they did, and I also thought that he came into, when I seen him in minicamp, he looked minicamp and OTAs, he looked light. He looked really light in OTAs, excuse me. And so when he came back, he had put on a little bit of weight, but he just wasn't playing consistently. But I like what offensive coordinator Nick Caley and what offensive line coach Cole Popovich has done by saying, hey, we don't want to completely just have you standing on the sideline watching. If we can find a way to incorporate you, get CJ Stroud some more help, get the running game going a little bit better, and be with the way that the thing that they're doing now is they're mixing and matching. Because when that 6 offensive linemen used to come in, when Blake Fish used to come in, defenses automatically thought run. But now the way that Nick Caley is mixing it up, if I'm not mistaken, and I got to go back and take a look, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that remember when CJ dropped that beautiful pass to Jalen Noel for 44 yards on the sideline?
Yes.
He dropped it in the bucket. If I'm not mistaken, I think that there was I think that Blake Fisher was in the game then, because it was only a 2-man route. It was Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. And the route that Noel ran, it was going to take time. And CJ had the time to wait and drop that thing right in the bucket. And so I just want to see more consistency. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So I love what you're pointing out here, because this is an interesting chess match. I know we're shouting out Blake Fisher and kind of his reclamation or his opportunity here to make an impact on the team after not having the greatest camp or preseason and an up and down rookie year and all of that. But I really want to look at Caley here for this, like as his adjustment. They talk about fitting your scheme to your personnel and all of that, right? You hear this all the time. This is an example of that, right? When we say we want to see more adjustments and we want to see them actually fit their scheme to their personnel and not try to make their personnel fit their scheme and all of that, right? This is a great example of that. When, look, man, they tight end started dropping, man. The Brevin Jordan situation, we've of course covered that. We know what happened there. It's back-to-back years with Rev. Shout out to him, prayers up for him. But Brevin Jordan is gone. Kay Stover suffered a serious injury that's had him out of action. And then you look up, so but they've had to go without him for this time, right? And we'll see how things adjust from there. But I think they found this is like found money here, right? Where hey, we don't have tight ends.
They lost Irv Smith Jr. too for the season.
So they can't find it, and then, so they out there with Dalton Schultz and Harrison Bryant or Dalton Schultz and whoever else they can find.
And Blake Fisher.
And so Blake Fisher, bro, how many times in the press box, like it felt like I wanted to tell him, hey man, tell the ref he don't have to keep telling us that Blake Fisher is reporting as eligible.
Right.
Let's just everybody here in the stadium, let's operate with the understanding. Yeah, Blake Fisher is eligible. He out there as the sixth offensive lineman.
Hey,
but again,
hold on before
go ahead.
Let me ask you a really quick question, right? Because you know how we do in the barbershop. Look, let me ask you a really quick question, B. Could you see a scenario maybe in a couple of games where they go to that sixth offensive lineman with Blake Fisher eligible and they throw him a pass?
Ooh, you know what?
You know what? I'm gonna find out tomorrow. I'm gonna find out on Wednesday if he can catch.
Because that's going to be the big thing. Because they absolutely would. And him being a tackle, you would imagine he's athletic enough. He's a little bit more athletic than obviously the fattest of guys. You mentioned how he was kind of light in the tail. Yeah. So like he should be the most nimble of all of the offensive linemen for sure. But does he have hands? I don't know what kind of hands he got. You got
to look at it like this, B. A lot of the guys in the NFL didn't just play the one position they played for the entire time they've been playing football. You look at Titus. Titus has played every position on the offensive line. Plus, Titus has been a tight end. And Titus played quarterback.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
And so now I gotta find out what other position did Blake Fisher, because he may, hey, look, I'll put it like this. I would try it just to give the element of surprise. Then he's eligible. He's in there. You better make sure you account for him.
Well, look, they are all athletes. We should keep this in mind too, right? Like we're talking about offensive linemen, but don't get it twisted. All of these guys are athletes, Blake Fisher included. So it wouldn't shock me. But I will point out to that question. I would point out again what this is doing. It is by them bringing in Blake Fisher as the extra offensive lineman, they're giving CJ Stroud fewer options to throw the ball to, but a better chance to have time to throw the ball, right? Like, so it's like he doesn't have, and we were making this point on the radio. It doesn't matter if he's got 4 or 5 dudes to throw the ball to, and he don't have any time to throw the ball. So if you give him, like you were just saying, two people to throw the ball to, maybe 3 people to throw the ball to, but that extra guy is in there is Blake Fisher. Maybe he's not getting the ball, but what he is doing is making sure that CJ Stroud is upright and has the opportunity to do things that we all know he's capable of doing. That's valuable in and of itself. And I think once they master that, once they get comfortable with that, yeah, man, like that's going to be the thing that they show, the tape that they show that's not on tape. Our team does something that the other team hasn't scouted for yet because they haven't done it. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I don't think we're there yet, but I can see it down the road.
Because you look at it like this. B, they constantly remind us where Nick Caley came from outside of coaching with the Los Angeles Rams. You definitely will never leave out the fact that he came from the New England Patriots. You're never going to forget that. Like, you're never like, yeah, so he was a tight ends coach and pass game coordinator with Los Angeles Rams, but where he got his start was with the New England Patriots and the Patriots way. So just say Tom Brady and the rest of them. But that's neither here nor there, B. We'll talk about that another time. But I could see them doing something like that because of where he did come from. That's the type of stuff that Bill Belichick will hold on to until it's time to play like the Ravens. And then he'll pull it out and make Harbaugh get so pissed off that thinking that he's cheating. It's like, no, bro, it's in the rule book, bro. You heard him say that he was eligible. Like, just because I haven't thrown it to him don't mean I can't throw it to him. So, that's just, like I said, that's just another thing that I would like to, to throw out there and see, hey, man, as time goes on, as this offense hopefully evolves, you can look at it and you can say, just add some more wrinkles. Because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I think that I'd rather see a pass thrown to Blake Fisher than see the wide receiver screen multiple times. B, I hope they never bring the wide receiver screen back. Unless, wait a minute. Hold on. I would love to see it run with Jalen Noel.
Well, tell me who's blocking. Like, I don't mind a wide receiver screen to Jalen Noel with Blake Fisher out there. but also, who else got to be out there if they run wide receiver screens? You know who else I need to be out there, man? I need Bridget Brooks out there. I need Bridget Brooks out there ready to lay somebody on their ass, man. That's excuse my language, audience, but that's what I need. That's what I need. Hey, look, and I know the if y'all know what play I'm talking about, it was this wasn't a screen, but look, wherever there's some static or somebody got to like try to make something happen in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Or this feel like it's going to be a bar fight, whatever this play is. I need Bridget Brooks next to me, man. That's what I need in front of me. So yeah, if they can figure out a way how to get, and Noel is both fast and strong. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So if you get the ball to Noel, get that extra offensive lineman out there, get Bridget Brooks out there, ready to lay somebody out. Then yeah. But otherwise, man, I know. I watch the game with people who do not understand why teams that are not good at throwing screens throw so many of them.
Right.
It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? You're not the Patriots. You're not, the Eagles or whatever it is. Like, stop trying to be something that you're not. So yeah, I can do without it unless you give me the right personnel.
And I'm glad that you brought up running backs, B, because there was a Joe Mixon sighting on Sunday, and and that that's a name that you never want to forget, especially when it comes to this Houston Texans team. You can't forget what he did last season as far as making a Pro Bowl, going over 1,000 yards rushing, and even though he hasn't been able to get out on the field so far this season, there's a hope and a possibility and a chance that he could come back. Wouldn't it be wild if him and Fred VanVleet made their return at the same time? I think the city of Houston would go crazy. But B, this is my dilemma. Okay, this is my dilemma. Joe Mixon hasn't played football in a very long time, and we know that the game of football, you can condition all you want on that side field. You can condition all you want on the back field or the front field, wherever you want to do your conditioning. It's totally different when you have to get on that field and play in the game, when you have to play the actual game. And so I'm going to ask you this question. And I know you hear the train in the background. That's, I always go like this, like a little kid every time. And, I'm like, it is.
And that's real life in these H-Town streets, man. We got train tracks all over the place, man.
For sure. But B, I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm sorry, if Joe Mixon comes back, and let's just say comes back week 11, how many reps do you give him in order to get himself back in game shape? Or do you just say, we're going to keep you in case of emergency, break glass, and we're going to continue to go with this 1-2 punch of Nick Chubb and Woody Marks, because he's going to, when Joe Mixon comes back, he's going to take reps away from Woody Marks. And if he's taking the reps away, does that stunt the growth of the rookie?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked it that way, because I think that would be the mistake. I think that the way you approach it with Joe Mixon, if he does come back, is to take it as slow as possible and not to disrupt what you already had. Because I'm actually, you tell me if you disagree with this, but I'm actually good with the running backs. Like neither one, Nick Chubb nor Woody Marks, right now looks like what Joe Mixon looked like the last time we saw him. I'll say that. Like Joe Mixon, if you're comparing, okay, give me Joe Mixon, but let's not act like we're gonna see that version of Joe Mixon coming back after the injury and after all of that time missed. So, like, if you're giving me last year's Joe Mixon, just gonna plop him down in the middle of the season or at the end of the season and tell me that he's gonna be that guy, then yeah, business as usual. Give him the ball and let's go. Like, not really much to talk about. But because of the sort of nuance that you laid out there of like how long it takes to get back into game shape, like almost, not to get too off track, but like almost like with Christian Harris when they brought him back. It's like, okay, we're not going to bring him back and treat him like he's Christian Harris of 2023 following around Lamar Jackson. We're going to throw him out there, see what he can handle. If he can handle it, he can. If he can't, he can't. We got other guys that can play the position, and that's how we're going to roll. That's how I would like to see it with Joe Mixon as well. Like, maybe you give him the Dari carries.
Yeah.
Maybe you give him the Dari reps, and Dari can just really be the special teams guy that he is. And don't go away from the Woody Marks, Nick Chubb tandem. I think that that's working just fine, So unless you can sell me on Joe Mixon being 100% exactly the dude that he was before, I would lean toward the second thing that you said. Go with these two that you've been riding for the first part of the season, and then just see what Joe can give you.
Yeah, and I think the exact same thing, because what you're seeing from Woody Marks, the more carries he gets, the more playing time that he gets, you can see him starting to get better. You see him starting to, to finally, it's clicking. And I'm not saying that early on it wasn't clicking for him, but he's a rookie. So there's a lot of things going on that he's not used to seeing on this level. And, all of them will tell you, what I mean by all of them, a lot of all of the rookies, right? All of the rookies that I've talked to, at least since 2017, has always told me the biggest difference in playing in college and playing in the pros is the game speed. You said that game speed increases so quickly that you're saying to yourself, hey, wait a minute, man, how is this big 300-pound guy moving this fast, right? How is this big, offensive lineman, getting out that fast? Or how is this big defensive tackle getting to me this quick when I'm coming from, they didn't move that quick in college, but now they move that quick here in the pros. And so when I say Woody Marks is starting to get it, you can slowly see him, we knew that he could run. We knew that he could catch. We're seeing him be better and better in pass protection, but not only is he becoming better in pass protection. I don't think people have picked up on these small little intricacies and nuances of him being able to start to run behind that offensive line. That offensive line isn't, great. We know that. We know that offensive line, when we spoke of inconsistencies earlier, it fluctuates up and down, up and down. But what he's learning to do is the exact same thing that Joe Mixon was doing, and that's run behind not so great offensive line. He picks that up, B, to where he can cut back and see the hole and move the way that he moves. And I know that they have a whole new blocking scheme now, but he's starting to just pick up a little bit more and a little bit more. And then with that, 50-yard pass that he caught, being that outlet for, finding a spot. B, you played basketball before. What do they say? Hey, man, if you want to beat a zone, just find a spot, stay there, the ball will come to you. What did he do on that play? He leaked out a little bit. He found a spot. He was an outlet. And then once he catches it, that's what he can do. That's who Woody Marks is. That's who the next Houston Texans running back for the foreseeable future is going to be Woody Marks. So I would not put him out there. But speaking of rookies, hey man, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins is making Nick Caserio look better and better every day. He may not be able to draft good offensive linemen. He may not be able to bring in good offensive linemen in the offseason. He may have picked up a guy who needs to take a step away from football for a while and just relax at Starbucks and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like he just needs, he may just need to grab his iPad and use the Wi-Fi there and just journal a little bit. He may not be able to do that, but what he's done as far as picking up Ariante Ursery, we'll put that to the side for now. We'll table that. Woody Marks, who we just talked about. But these two former Iowa State wide receivers were given their chance on Sunday B, and they shine.
Yeah, man, I've been saying as far as Nick Caserio go, the best thing that he does is draft. And that don't mean that he hit on every draft pick or that I love every draft pick per se, but by and large, and probably, it's not, I don't want to knock the guys, but like outside of offensive linemen, you kind of laid this out. They got an offensive line evaluation issue, offensive line acquisition issue, if you will. That's a little bit odd. And, today feels like this week feels like a weird time to kind of point that out, given the kind of week that they had. But like the point I'm making is I've always been good with Nick Caserio for the most part and what he does on the draft. Like to me, that's his calling card. That's the defense. If you want to defend Nick Caserio, he does weird things with money. They don't acquire offensive linemen great. Like they some of their free agent moves haven't always panned out. But you're never going to hit on everything as a GM. You're going to have you're not going to swing and hit every time in nothing. So like I'm okay with that. I feel like he does a decent enough job drafting. And I will say that with these rookies, this was one of my concerns going into the season. Like right as we were getting close to the season, I kind of got a sense for what the team was really going to look like. Mm-hmm. So like this is like in the training camp, into the preseason, and we right here ahead of the season. I was like, man, one of my concerns about this team is, man, I think they're gonna need these rookies a little bit more than I realized when they first drafted them. Like I liked them when they drafted them, but the closer we got to it, I was like, oh, you know what? Not a whole lot of wide receiving options. This Higgins and Noel thing gonna have to really be a part of what they do. The running back situation, like we still weren't sure on Joe Mixon, but we knew it wasn't good. So it's like, man, they might need this Woody Marks thing to work out because Dameon Pierce, not really, whatever it is. So like, is it just Nick Chubb and Woody Marks? And of course, Ariante Ursery had earned the left tackle job. I feel like pretty early in camp, pretty early in the offseason. So when you combine, and that's not to mention the Jalen, the rookie corner that I didn't even mention, Jalen Smith, and then Jalen Reed, the safety. I didn't even mention them, but those are guys that I think could have impact on the team and eventually will have impact on the team. So I was bullish on the rookie class, and then sure enough, Noel and Higgins have made an impact. Have made an imprint on this offense, and I think like the positive of all of that is like, hey, they're relying too much on rookies, but it's a good thing that these is the rookies that they relying on, right? Yeah. Like I wasn't comfortable with the idea that these would be the rookies. I just didn't see it when they first drafted them that they would have to rely on them as much as they will. Not until leading up to the season, but man, they've shown up. They've shown up. That it's the reason why in that Seattle game everybody was so mad that Braxton Berrios was getting nod over Noel. They're like, man, why is he returning? Why is he on any kind of return game instead of Noel? Why would that happen? Because you're seeing it. You're seeing it, and I think that their chemistry with CJ Stroud is getting better. Their confidence grows whenever they get in the end zone. whenever they get to kind of celebrate a little bit and flex their muscles a little bit. So I'm high on the rookies, man. And I think that, forget me just being high on them, I think they need these dudes. Like,
Yeah.
Whatever the Texans are going to be this year, it's going to have a lot to do with what those guys can provide for them. So it's good to see them have a good game.
Yeah, and listen, I'm taking nothing away from either one of those young men. I think that they are, from watching them in training camp and watching them, just the way that they play, the way that they perform, the way that they practice, the way that they want to get better, and all that's great. I'm just hoping that all that can be incorporated, just like with what CJ said on Sunday with 12. Once 12 come back, you learn how to continue to use Higgins and Noel and Hutchinson, like learn how to do it. But I mean, once 12 get back on that field, man, I feel like that this past week against the 49ers was their opportunity to step back and say, okay, if we do these type of things and we incorporate Nico, because if I'm not mistaken, like Nico's signature route is an end breaker. And they killed the 49ers this past weekend with end breakers. And so a lot of times, though, defense wants to bracket him. And so you're going to have to find a way to free him up. I don't know how that's going to happen, but you got to find a way to free him up. And if that means using Higgins and Noel to help free him up, but also be an option in the play, that's the type of thing that I want to see be. And so, I'm hoping that this team can keep some consistency. The offensive side of the ball can keep some consistency going into the game against the Denver Broncos. And before I get to the Broncos, though, B, I got two quick questions for you. First one is, do you think that they make a move at the trade deadline?
Not a move of substance. I don't think that they make a move of substance. Now, hold on. Let me change that. Scratch that for a second. Do I think they make a move at the trade deadline? I don't think the big move at the trade deadline is bringing somebody in. I could see the big move being, and when we say big move, it's relative. Like, well, this is Texans happy hour. You do the tailgate talk, B Block Podcast, Sports Radio 610, the flagship, all of that. So, like, for a Texan-centric audience, this would be considered big. I don't think it's actually that big, but like Damian Pierce, a team need a running back. You're not really giving Damian Pierce no carries. I can see that. Is there a team? Look, man, it looked like EJ Speed has taking over whatever role that Christian Harris was gonna have. I don't know. But like, is somebody wanting to bet on his potential, and could the Texans sell there? Like, if I had to guess, I don't feel like it's somebody that they're bringing in. I feel like it'd be somebody that they sending out, which I do think would be disappointing for some people, considering that the team started off slow, and especially if they, let's say they pick it up, they win this game, and they back at 500. This game against the Broncos, and they're back to 500, and things are looking up. People want to say, hey, look, let's ante up, and then you're giving away players and bringing them back instead of bringing them back. I can see people being a little bit upset about that. I don't think I would. Yeah, but I'm just telling you, that's what, if I had to predict, that would be more along the lines of what I would see as opposed to what they bring.
I agree with that, B. Although I think that, just like what Sideline Sarah said in the chat, I mean, they definitely need to, maybe look at bringing in another, offensive lineman or two. Or if they're not going to do that, just please stop with the rotating of the left guard. I mean,
bring in it, but maybe they can find a tight end, because that would save them from having to do all of that Blake Fisher stuff. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but the rotating, I'm glad you mentioned. I don't know how much you want to talk about that though. But am I crazy? Am I crazy? Like, bro, when was it? I'm trying to remember what practice it was where I went up there. You were there, but so you were standing off kind of to the side. But I walked up to Mark Vandermeer and John Harris, who do the games for Sports Radio 610. They do the live broadcast, and I just kind of asked them, because obviously they work for the team.
Yeah.
So I kind of asked him in jest a little bit. I was like, "Hey, this had to been, and when was this? This had to been after maybe the first couple of games, whenever it was though." I say, "Man, we got to be done with this guard rotation thing, right? Like that, Juice Scruggs is not gonna be confused with like Zach Martin or nobody, but like he earned that job, right? Like we're not doing that anymore, are we, bro? This was a month ago. Okay, this was 3 weeks or a month ago when I asked them that, and they still out there. Are they still out there doing it? My heart don't understand it. It just don't. Like it don't.
Yeah. No, I get you too, B, because I think that every other offensive lineman played 41 pass blocking snaps, and Laken Tomlinson played 20, and Juice Scruggs played 21. And I'm saying to myself, see, this is my issue and my problem that I have with it. Let's go back to the Seattle game, all right? Let's go back to the Seattle game for a minute. When they had 3rd and 1, and then they had 4th and 1, and they didn't get it. You remember that? So first they tried to run it inside on the left. They tried to run on the left side. It didn't work in between the tackles. And then they tried to run the stretch play, and it didn't work. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, okay, we know that the Seattle Seahawks has a great front 7. We know that the Seattle Seahawks have a great front 4. My issue and my problem is who is Woody running behind though? And how many reps has he had running behind this one? Because every time you turn around, it's okay, I got to run behind Laken and get used to what he's doing one series. Then you bring a Juice in, and now I got to get used to running behind him in another series. And every week, every series, you're switching them in and out. And I'm saying, okay, so there's no consistency. And I feel like in order for an offensive unit to move, offensive line unit to move as an offensive line unit, in order to protect CJ, in order to get the running game going, you have to have some consistency. So I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I keep harping on it again. I did not ask a question to Nick Caley about it last week because everybody else kept asking him about it. So I just sat back and, of course, I asked my question about what I asked about the offense looking like the same as Bobby Slowick did at that point in time. This was before the 49ers game. But B, when you don't have that type of consistency, then you're leaving yourself open to being, okay, this is what's going to happen. I don't know if you've seen the viral clip of the defensive lineman from the Seahawks that said they knew every time the Texans were going to run when Laken Tomlinson was in the game because he was tipping run. And I'm saying to myself, you see what I mean? You see how that happens? So, you're going to have to pick a struggle. Put Juice in there and run with Juice the whole game, or put Laken in there and run with Laken the whole game. But you can't keep doing this back and forth, especially if you plan on still trying to make this run, because CJ also needs to be able to have some consistency. And every time he look up in the huddle and it's somebody, they switching in and out, how's he ever going to get comfortable, B?
Yeah. Hey, which one of y'all is it this time? He looking at the jersey like, is it 70 or 75? Who is my left guard today or on this given occasion? No, man, I've just never heard of. I've heard of competition, right? 2 guys maybe competing for a spot. But once you 4, 5, 6, 7 games into a season, I've never heard of riding a hot hand at left guard. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, is that because that's what it feels like? They just like, oh, let's see who's hot, who's the guy right now, who's hot, who's not. And I'm like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Like, come on, pick a left guard and let's be real. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect either one of these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, just for the record, I think that the job should be Juice Scruggs. Okay, I think that's who should have the job. But it ain't like, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, neither guy. Just pick a guy. Like, right? Because I mean, this is the knock on the offensive line, is that all of them is just a bunch of guys anyway. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the knock on them is that they're all just a bunch of guys anyway. if they're all just a bunch of guys, why can't you just pick one? Why can't you just pick one of these guys? And again, to me, Juice, I feel like has shown you more. Or, well, let's be real. But Lakin, at least early on, was bad. Juice, and then Juice was less bad. And then he's the younger player. To me, the tie should go to the younger player. Right. So I don't get it. There's something clearly something we're missing. Gotta be something that we don't understand, or maybe I don't know. But it doesn't. Every time we see it, it's weird. It's curious. Seems unnecessary. And look, how you got your best five out there and you change it. You add an offensive lineman, so you really got six out there, and then you swap it out the guard. So like not only you're not getting your best five, you don't even know your best six are because you throw it out six out there. It's just a weird dynamic, man. A weird thing. It does that same. That same day that I was talking about when I went up to Mark and John and asked, "Hey, are we done with this?" I actually did ask DeMeco Ryans in that press conference or whatever day that was if they had settled on their five, but it was kind of like one of them 2-part questions where I'd asked something else too before that. And are these your five? Do you have your five offensive linemen? Was like the part 2 of the question, and he didn't answer that. And I thought even at the time I was like, man, DeMeco's a smart dude, and DeMeco listens. So like he ain't forget. He just he decided, and he's free to do this. He decided he didn't want to answer that question. Mm-hmm. But hell, now I know why. Because they still kept rotating them ever since. So the answer ended up being, the proof ended up being in the pudding, right? Uh-huh. By what they went out there and did. No, they did not have a top five or their best.
And next time you come on here, B, we're going to have to talk about Jake Andrews because I don't have the time nor the mental bandwidth to talk about how I feel about Jake Andrews. That's another story for another time. Really quickly, I said pick a struggle earlier when I was talking about right guard. Talking about the rotation at left guard, and I just want to side note this. But before I side note this, once again, you tune into the Texas Happy Hour, sponsored by the Hall Family Estates. I'm your host, Big Sarge. I'm joined today by Brandon K. Scott, host of the B Block podcast and Sports Radio 610 personality. B, real quickly, because I think I seen this in the chat earlier, and I said I'm gonna table that. I'm gonna get back to that when I said about picking a struggle. Just real quickly, when just going back to the way that the Houston Texans performed this past Sunday against San Francisco 49ers. Hey, 49er fans, hold on, B. Give me a second. I gotta get myself together. This is what I normally do when I'm on the show. B, I got to drink. So hold on for a second.
Yeah, give me some water too.
Hold on for a second. Let me make sure. Let me get this time stamp so I can clip it up and piss them off. B,
I don't want to show the brand of this water either because they're not paying us.
B, let me say this. Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Dear San Francisco 49er fans, all of you all who showed up at NRG Stadium and packed the house this past Sunday. I thought I was in Levi Stadium for a second. I was like, I remember driving my truck from my house to the stadium, so I know I'm in Houston, Texas. This is not a rental. So I do know that I am in Houston, Texas, even though you got all these San Francisco 49er fans here who went home disappointed. This is my issue and my problem. Pick a damn struggle, because you can't talk about how good your team has been playing with Mac Jones and how good you all looked coming into the game. And then after you lose to the Texans, now you got all these goddamn excuses about injuries and we don't have everybody and we didn't play our best. The Texans were playing against our JV squad. Well, hell, didn't your JV squad go 4-1 or however many games Mac Jones has won? If I'm not mistaken, B, the week prior against the Atlanta Falcons in that win, Christian McCaffrey was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. So don't come in here And then don't come to NRG, lose, and then you got all these goddamn on excuses. But before, you didn't have them coming in. You came in with the confidence. You paid that high-ass plane ticket to come from San Francisco to Houston. And I'm glad that you all went back because Texas is crowded. Houston is crowded. I'm glad you went back to California or wherever you are. I don't have anything against the people of California. All I'm telling you is Texas is packed.
Yes.
Not really, because we are a really, really big state. We can put we can't put California in Texas, but we can put a lot of other states by El Paso. I be telling people that all the time. People be like, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Indiana. And I could put Indiana over there in El Paso and not even know that you're still in my same state. I digress, B. Pick a struggle. Stop crying. I'm so tired of seeing all these 49er fans online talking about, well, the only reason y'all won is because the only reason the Texans won is because they had injuries. Well, what about the injuries the Houston Texans have? And what about all that? Be close your ears, because you got kids. Close your ears. What about all that shit y'all was talking before you came to Houston? Okay, B. I'm ready.
Hey, look. Very well said, very well put. Because it's the thing too, though. Like, and to the point about them talking that shit before they came to Houston. Talk your shit. Like, if you got a good record, despite the fact that you got all of these injuries, like that's supposed to be the reason why people were complimentary of the 49ers. The reason why they had respect to begin with. So, like, don't take the compliments and the respect of everybody else, under these circumstances, like everybody acknowledging, tipping the cap. Oh, Mac Jones filling in for Brock Purdy. Oh, Mac Jones looked pretty good.
Quarterback controversy.
Kyle Shanahan can make it happen with any quarterback. Oh, everybody on the defense is gone, but they still making it work. Oh, Christian McCaffrey looked like he did when he first got there. All of that. Like, okay, well, if all of that was valid, then you got to acknowledge that you just got worked. You know what I'm saying? That you just got worked, because we tipping the cap for all that other stuff. And I'm not saying we wrong for it. Like, I think they did deserve credit for some of the stuff that they did before this Texans game. But that being said, you go into it, you get work like that. That's got to be a sobering, kind of like a reality check for them for what they really are, right? Like, because I mean, honestly, I still think that the NFC, is, the AFC and the NFC are kind of different. It's just a different kind of vibe. But yeah, nah, man, I feel like they have played well enough in spite of, to not all of a sudden start using that as an excuse for when they don't play well. Now, I will say that defense was charming. I mean, it was Swiss cheese, okay? And that, like, remember you talking about earlier about how you want to see more from them offensively because they was getting field goals and they wasn't really doing enough?
Yeah.
Sarge, man, they ran, and I agree with you, by the way, because that first drive where they kicked the field goal, bro, they ran 16 plays. They ran 16 plays. Like, and look, to me, that's inexcusable to me. You run 16 plays and dominate the drive like that and then come away with a field goal, something's wrong. Y'all need to go look at it, and y'all need to talk about it. Y'all need to fix it. That ain't cool. Like 16 plays, your ass need to get in the end zone, all right? So, and I'm sure and they don't need me to tell them that. They know that. But I say all that to say, man, they was doing that against a defense that just wasn't there. They wasn't it.
I'm glad you said that, B, because the thing is this, right? Hold on. The thing is this, right? I think with Kyle Shanahan, if I could play Kyle Shanahan for a second, without the Chris Sims tattoo, but if I could play Kyle Shanahan for just a minute, and nobody told me this, I haven't heard this, I'm just, hypothetically, I'm speaking for Kyle Shanahan, right? I think what he probably thought was, well, DeMeco learned the defense from Robert Saleh. So it's still the defense we practice against. But I don't think that he took the step back, B, and said to himself, yes, it's the same scheme, but it's different talent. Same scheme. It's the same scheme, your same defensive scheme you practice against. But that's a totally different group of players you have. You don't have a Will Anderson Jr. over there. I mean, and of course we know Nick Bosa. Is Nick or Joey? Which one of them play for them?
Man, you asking? It is Nick, but this is the mistake I make every time. But it's Nick. It's Nick every time. If you got a brother and I know both of y'all names, I'm gonna call you by your brother's name. That's just how it works.
And so I'm gonna say like this, B. Even if they had Bosa in the game, even if they had Fred Warner in the game, you're still talking about a defensive unit for the Texans that has Hunter, Anderson, rotating of the defensive tackles. You got Azeez in the middle. Then you got Derek on one side, Kamari on the other side. Like you may practice against that scheme, but you never practice against these. You ain't practicing against these players. And so, sure, when you scheme it up during the week with Christian McCaffrey being able to do what he can do, then now you're saying to yourself, okay, we think it's going to work. Until Will Anderson lines up on that other side and beats the dog crap out of your tackle, and now you're trying to adjust. But as soon as you adjust to him, here comes Hunter over here, and now you want to pass, but then you can't pass because even if you go back and look, I think at one point throughout through the second quarter, I think Mac Jones may have had like 9 yards passing. I'm not for sure. I have to go back and look. But even if you look at the way that they scored towards the end of the first half, right? That was set up because of a special teams play made by the return unit for the 49ers. If the Texas special team stopped them, then you don't have to worry about all that. So anyway, as I digress, B, I just feel like it's the same scheme, different talent. I got one more question, and you all, let me say this. I know that I put out on social media that we were going to talk about KD, but we're going to have to get back to that at a later time. We'll probably let KD get a couple of more games under his belt for the Houston Rockets because there's still an elephant in the room that B and I need to address. But B, before we move on, I have to ask you the same question I asked the fellas on the cookout. If the Houston Texans do not make the playoffs, who takes the blame?
It's got to be Caserio, right? Like I think it's got to start at the top. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, I think there's going to be a healthy share of blame that you can distribute across the board, right? I don't think if they don't make the playoffs, I don't think DeMeco Ryans is blameless. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't think Nick Caley is blameless. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't think CJ Stroud is blameless. If they don't make the playoffs, somewhere along the line, something didn't go right. I feel like with, various points of it, and especially when you look at some of those leadership positions. So it is a lot of shared blame, I would say. But it's hard not to look at the top. It's hard not to look at the top because, like, what's the difference? CJ Stroud, I think this game was a great example of, hey, CJ Stroud is still the guy that you remember. Whatever you want to talk about sophomore slump, or he has a bad game here or there. We've seen him have bad games. Okay. And we've also seen him have enough moments for us to be sure of what he is. I still feel pretty confident in DeMeco Ryans as an overall leader and head coach. Now, this has been a controversial year, or I would say last several months or so, in having to make tough decisions on the offensive coordinator. Valid questions about the decision to go with first-time play caller in back-to-back hiring cycles, right? Both times he's hired an offensive coordinator now. He's hired a first-timer. I think there are valid reasons to criticize that. There are things to pick apart, but DeMeco Ryans is still a good head coach. CJ Stroud is still a good quarterback. Nick Caley, some combination of Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans are going to have to share the blame for if Nick Caley doesn't work out. And he had a good game, obviously calling the game on Sunday. I want to acknowledge that. But if that doesn't work out, and then the offensive line thing, right? Like whose job is it to put together an offensive line? That's Nick Caserio. If those are the things that hold them back, or it's just the fact that this team does not look talented enough to make the kind of noise that they've made, and forget the kind of noise that they made the past couple of years. They were trying to level up, right? They were trying to take the next step. So if they go backwards instead of forwards, I don't know how you don't start at the top with the person that put it all together and then distribute a nice bit of it to everybody else that's in a leadership position, that being DeMeco, CJ Stroud, and I was seeing Nick Cave.
Yeah, and the my answer on the cookout, which will be out here soon, and I'm not gonna, rehash that. I want everybody to be able to hear it fresh for the first time. But I'm just gonna say, as I elaborate over there on that show, but I'm just gonna say these two people be, and then we're gonna move on. Nick Caserio, and I say Cole Popovich. And that's something that that we're gonna have to talk about at another time, because I know I gotta get you out of here pretty soon, because you got to get up and get them kids to school. So B, hey, we're about to take a break, but when we come back, I'm really gonna need to know, you good?
Hi, Laura Williams coming to you here from Easy Honda. Just want to remind you that this is my new home, and here at Easy Honda, we are here to take care of all your vehicle needs. From new vehicles to pre-owned vehicles, we've got what you are looking for. And if you're a business and you're looking for vehicles, we've got a great selection here at our dealership. For any information on getting your next vehicle here at Easy Honda, you can reach me at 281-224-3666. Remember to ask for Laura Williams. We make it easy here at Easy Honda.
Hey, welcome back. You're tuned to the Texans Happy Hour, sponsored by the Hall Family Estate. They say you can't buy happiness, but you can buy wine, and that's the closest thing to it. So make sure you go to www.hallfamilyestates.com. I am joined today by Brandon K. Scott, host of the B Block podcast. He family, y'all. But definitely there's some first-time listeners in here, and I know him as B Scott, and I know all his accolades, but sometimes it's good to hear it too. B, you don't have to answer that. But Brandon K. Scott from the B Block podcast. He's also a sports radio personality over at Sports Radio 610. You've seen him on television and on numerous channels. You've seen him and read his work as far as Bleacher Report, right? When it was with baseball.
Oh man, yeah. And you know what? World Series time is funny. The World Series playing right in the background right now. World Series time, I kind of miss my Bleacher Report checks.
What score?
It's 6-1 the last time I checked.
Toronto was up.
Yeah, Toronto's up 6-1. Yep.
I'm going for Toronto, B, because I'm going for Toronto because I want to see George Springer get another ring, and they got Miles Straw in there. Miles Straw, bro.
Yeah,
Miles, oh my God.
I'm with you.
Again, with Brandon K. Scott, host of the B Block podcast and radio personality over at Sports Radio 610. B, we got to go ahead and get to the elephant in the room. And before we do, early on, you brought up or introduced how we got to the buzzword of noise, right? Mm-hmm. You got to the buzzword of noise and how we, you kind of hinted around on how we got here. So I want, for context, I'm going to play the question that I asked on Sunday to DeMeco Ryans after they defeated, after the Houston Texans defeated the San Francisco 49ers. And like I say, just for context, I want to make sure that, give me a second, that we have some context before we get into DeMeco Ryans' version of "Shut your ass up." Hold on for a second.
But just to be clear, are y'all good?
No, just to be clear, what? B, go ahead. I can hear you.
Are y'all good?
Are you good?
Are you good?
Right.
Coming into this game, there was a lot of criticism and noise about the way that the offense was ran, and in particular the way that Nick Caley was calling the plays. How impressed were you about the way that he was able to call the game today and for you all to get off to such a fast start?
Kaylee did a great job again today, and he's done a great job with what we were asking him to do. He's doing a great job. He has the guys have his back. Everybody's in this together, right? From Kaylee, myself, the play, we're all in this thing together. So it really doesn't matter about outside noise.
Okay, B. Do you know why I stopped it right there? Because he answered my question right there. And did you see? And I'm gonna let this finish playing in just a second. But so, because like I said, I want to, we're about to build a house, but I want to set the foundation first. Did you see what I specifically asked about the noise surrounding the offense, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say the noise surrounding the team. I said the noise surrounding the offense. Now, he answered my question. This part right here, I just feel like he wants to get off his chest.
We hear a lot of that every time you lose. Everybody wants to come up with something of get rid of everybody, fire everybody, lose a game, you go out and don't play well. But it's just the noise is just a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about. Because here in this room, as a team, we stick together as a team, and we know it's only about us, right? And you never let that outside noise creep in and control who we are. We know who we are. We know what we're about. We know the formula. We know what it takes to go win games. And we just understand that the outside noise is just noise. We would never go ask anybody who's giving the noise. We would never go ask them their opinion about how to game plan or how to play football. So we keep that in-house, and we press forward, and we go out and play good football. That's what it's about.
So.
Yeah. I mean, look. Very, very reasonable exchange. Look, in the moment, so I'm listening to that just to kind of set the scene here. You're obviously asking him that question face to face. I am not too far away, back on the 8th floor in the press box, which you don't know this because you be down there already. But they play all of that live in the press box. We can hear y'all and see y'all live in the press box, right? Or we can see DeMeco and we can hear everything that's going on. So I'm hearing all of that and seeing all of that live as it's happening. I guess anybody that was watching on Texans social media could probably see it. But my ears perked up, my eyebrows raised a little bit when he said the whole, we would never ask none of these people for advice, basically, which is what he said was very similar to the idea of never accept criticism from somebody who you would not also seek their advice, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that people say, across industries and circumstances. Not a uncommon thought. But man, I thought that was the end of it. I thought that was the end of it. Now the fact that it did not end up being the end of it made me go back to it and wish that. And I want to be clear about this too, just so people know, because we've established you and I have a good relationship. I don't think you did anything wrong. I don't think you asked anything wrong, especially at least in the moment. But now, after the way everything kind of played out after the fact, I do kind of wish that you had kept that question just to Kaylee itself and not the noise. Because look, you ended up getting a great quote from DeMeco. So it's a good thing that you did. You did the right thing. Got a great quote from DeMeco, and it even apparently elicited follow-up from other people the next day.
Yeah, we're gonna play that in just a second.
But the reason why I wish that you had not brought up the noise is because it allowed people to make more noise. It ended up a question in response to the noise somehow ended up creating more noise. And I don't think that's your fault. So I just want to be clear about that. Yeah. But it did make me think in retrospect, well, damn, if somebody was going to take that personally, then I almost wish that we hadn't. And I will say this too, that I'll give Kaylee credit, but I did think it was a little premature for them to take any kind of victory lap about the noise. Okay, I will say that. Like I agree with the premise of your question, but now, like looking back, I thought that part of it, the noise part, was maybe premature. Because this is what I say: like, I don't care really what a coach of a losing football team think about the noise, honestly. And I respect DeMeco, but I'm saying if you losing and there's noise, or your offense going out there and they can't perform and there's noise, then I really don't care what you think about it. I want to know what you're gonna do about it, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you got that criticism, then ask questions that are germane to whatever the criticism is. I'm good with that. But like, I don't really, to me, a noise, respond to the noise would have been more time appropriate after, let's say, the Texans rattle off an 8-3 finish and get into the playoffs, and they one of the better offenses in the league, and we was talking all that shit before, but look at them now type of thing. Whereas you have a bad Monday Night Football game and then have a good game 6 days later, okay, we tip for tat, we even, I didn't think that was a time for a victory lap. But again, though, I also thought that he asked that the questions was asked, answered, and I was surprised to see it keep going.
And before I play this next clip, B, I will say this, because one of our colleagues one of our colleagues and I had a conversation today, and he told me, he said, I felt like you opened the door for DeMeco to attack you opened up the door for DeMeco to attack the media when you said about the noise. And I said, so, and we're going to talk about this after I play that next clip. There's some more I want to add to it, but this is what I say, B, and this is how I look at it, right? And let me just say this now. Let me say this right now. And like I said, this is something that I'm probably going to repeat a little bit later on as well, after we see the next clip. So for me, and the way that I look at it, like I told him today, for me, just for me, and I'm talking about me, I'm talking about Sarge, and that's it. B, the word noise in sports has a negative connotation. It has never had a positive connotation when you're talking in sports terms. When you're talking in sports, strictly in sports, when you start talking about the noise, that's a negative. It has it's a negative connotation. It's a negative word when you're talking about sports, because anytime you hear, hey man, we hear the noise, we hear the chatter, that automatically brings in you got to help me out because you're way more smarter than I am. It brings in the synonym of criticism, right? Like criticism is the synonym to negativity, which I know that's really not accurate. I'm just doing that for dramatic effects, B. But B, anytime you hear somebody say all the noise, then that automatically equates to criticism. So like I told our colleague today, my question was specifically about the offense and the play calling, because after the Seattle game, we ripped the offense, the offensive line, CJ's play, Nick Caley's play calling. Why the hell on the goal line you didn't run quarterback sneak like we knew? Hey, how come CJ didn't get the ball over and he got the ball tapped? What happened on that drive where CJ dropped back and threw it deep 3 straight times? What happened on the 3rd and 1 you couldn't get it? What happened on the 4th and 1? What happened when CJ had to drop back 18 yards and he couldn't step into anything? And what should have been a safety got away, should have had 2 safeties. So that offense played like shit, B.
Yeah.
And when they played like shit, we gave them shit the entire week. When Nick Caley was barely at the podium before he started. The first question was asked, hey, why y'all waste so much time on that last play? You took 50 seconds to do this, that, and the other. And from that point on, it just kept going. I even asked the question of, hey, man, last year, every time I talked to Bobby, the first thing last year when I talked to Bobby, I would talk to him about the offense not being able to produce, and it ultimately got him fired. 6 games into the year, we're dealing with the same thing that got Bobby Slowick fired got fired after last year. We're still looking at the same thing. So Nick Haley's being ripped. DeMeco's being ripped. CJ's being ripped. And then I think that it's only fair that when you go out and you have 475 yards of total offense, when you have CJ getting 348 total yards, 318 passing, 30 rushing, 2 touchdowns, an interception, but that didn't really count. End of the hat. B, Christian McCaffrey rushed 8 times for 25 yards. CJ rushed 7 times for 30 yards. CJ outrushed Christian McCaffrey, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And so, with that being said, we ripped them a new butthole the entire week, and the noise is us criticizing the offense. So, all we can do is go, and this is just me talking, all we can do is take it by a game-by-game situation. Against Seattle, you play like crap. We told you played like crap. I can't come in and watch the performance that you just did, even though you didn't put up the amount of points that some may have wanted, but you dominated offensively. And I can't come back and still say, well, y'all ain't do against Seattle, though. What was that at against Seattle? What was that at against the Rams? So what was that at against Jacksonville? So that's why I specifically catered the noise question to offense and Nick Haley and play calling. That's why I did that, and that's why I didn't make it the noise surrounding the team and the way that they got beat in Seattle, and the way that that they were dominated. That Seahawks defense dominated them, and how Mike McDonald was able to draw up all kind of defensive plays to stop them. And then on the other side, you got Clint Kubiak, who should have been the offensive coordinator here. That's neither here nor there. Just dialing up plays for Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is the NFL leading in receiving yards coming into that game. You got an all-pro corner, and you say you want to play tight and sticky, and then you don't play him tight and sticky. I ain't even bring up that. I just asked about the offense. I know I got long-winded. I'm going to be taking up offering. I'm going to put my cash app in here in just a second for the building fund. But B, I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond because I know that I got long-winded. You should have said shot clock.
No, man, I needed to let you cook on that because I understood all of that. I understood that at the time. I understood that when you just explained it just now, and I understood it listening to you live from the press box on the 8th floor. Our little corner over there was 610. So I was sitting over there just listening. And I understood. I was a little surprised that DeMeco went as hard as he did now. He did so he caught me off guard with that.
Yeah.
But I understood where you were coming from. It wasn't until after the fact where I went back and was like, oh man, now. So I'm armchair, Monday morning quarterbacking your question, but not because of you, more so because of the response to all of it, right? So like I wouldn't change anything that you did, but I will say it seemed like the press, some members of the press corps took your framing of that question about noise, because and you just described this, so just kind of laid this out, kind of took that as like invalidating the noise, like saying, like when you bring the noise up saying, hey man, there was a lot of noise, what, how did you feel like you did today? It's like they took that personal, like what you saying, Sarge? You saying we wasn't supposed to be talking shit? When it's like, nah, that's not what I'm saying, because I was talking the same shit too. We was all talking the shit. We just using that to preface the question. But I do think a lot of people who were a part of whatever noise it is, or who identify with the criticism, internalize that when I don't think they necessarily needed to. or should have. And I'll just be honest, man, again, I didn't really like I could have done it didn't really matter to me what they thought about the noise because I thought the noise was warranted, but I also wasn't going to like internalize it and make it about, oh, he must be talking about me, because that's what it felt like happened next was, oh, well, I didn't say that. Well, what talk? Okay, well, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If this, like, they say hit dogs holler.
Yep.
If you're not the hit dog, don't holler type of thing. So now I do think it's a little, sometimes it gets a little confusing of like, okay, what noise we talking about?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of noise, of course, we know this. And so it could be you talking, what could very well have happened, Sarge?
Yeah.
You could be talking about one part of a piece of noise. DeMeco could be talking about another piece of noise. And then them other people that we in the press corps with could be thinking about a whole nother piece of noise, because there's so much noise in so many different places. Who knows who is consuming and listening to and what we talking about? The only reason why it all made sense is because they were so damn bad. We knew that there was noise and criticism. Like, like wherever you turn, somebody has something negative to say. But who knows what DeMeco was really responding to when he went off on that little tangent there that people sort of internalized, and he might not necessarily been talking about them, right? But he was talking about something and somebody, and so that's where it does get confusing. It's like, okay, well, who we talking about? What we talking about?
And that's the thing, B. That is the thing, because that's why I made it specific to the offense, because I know that if I'd have left it as open end as noise, then that leaves room for interpretation as far as allowing other people to come in. Now, I'm going to say this, B, and I have to preface this before I play this next clip, okay? I have to preface this, and I have to say this, and I have to put a disclaimer. Before I play this next clip, the thoughts, views, and opinions of the Texans tailgate talk and the Texans happy hour are Big Sarge's and Big Sarge's alone. This next segment has nothing to do with Brandon K. Scott. With some of the things that I'm going to say, some of the names that I'm going to mention, it should not be linked with Brandon K. Scott. I'm saying that, and I said it that way, so when I clip it up and put it out, the people who are probably going to get offended and probably going to say something to me on Wednesday, I'm going to let them know, hey, make sure you come at me. Don't come at B. Scott. B. Scott was there to talk about something else. I brought this up, and I put this out there. So, B, I'm about to play the clip of DeMeco and the interaction between him and Landry Locker and DJ Bieneme. And I'm going to make some comments, but I want you to know that I don't want you to be involved. Now, B, I'm also going to say this. If this is part of the show, because look, let me tell you something about the supporters of the Texas Tailgate Talk, right? Let me tell you something about the Big Sarge Brigade over here, right? B, they support me, whether they agree 100% what I say or disagree 1,000% what I say. One thing they're gonna do is they're gonna support me. They're gonna say Big Sarge stands 10 toes down on what he says. We know that if Big Sarge said, it ain't for no clickbait, no hot takes, no retweets, none of that. If he's saying it, he means it. If he's what he's talking about, if he says he means it, unless we know that he's joking and playing around. So, B, before I even play this next clip, if you would like for me to end your part of the show right now, so you won't be lumped into some of the things that I'm about to say, by all means, brother, I appreciate it. I know you got to get the kids up early. So I'm asking, would you like to stay around for this next part of the show?
Brother, I would not miss this. I would not, man. I didn't sat here this long. This is the best part, man. I'm sitting here through this, man. Let's go. Let's get to it, man. And again, before you do, I do want to say that, like, I didn't listen to this live. I had to go back and listen to this. I thought it was weird.
Yeah,
I thought it was weird. I thought the whole thing was bizarre. I've described it that publicly already. Got a good relationship with you. Got a good relationship. Like, I obviously, people know I work with Landry Locker at Sports Radio 610. Know him well. Got a good relationship with DJ Bienemy. Got a good relationship with DeMeco. So everybody involved here, right? I know all y'all. I like all y'all. I thought this shit was weird. Let's go.
And the only thing that I can do, and like, if there's gonna be people out there that get offended, let me go ahead and say up front now, hey, look, I don't mean to offend you. I'm not trying to be malicious. I'm not trying to be malicious. I don't have any ill intent. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm from Houston, man. That's why I always wear, if anything I can wear that got the H on it, I'm gonna wear, because I'm from Houston, where I stand 10 toes down on everything I say. And whatever comes with after what I say, then I'm cool with that. But I'm secure in saying, hey, I said it, I believe it. I am not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to do none of that. If I say it, I believe it. And afterwards, we can have a discussion. But if you don't want to have a discussion, I understand that. If you never want to talk to me again, I understand that. But if my opinion of what I'm about to say now hurt some feelings and offend some people, and you tell me, hey, Sarge, it's been cool, you can kiss my ass though, I'm gonna be like, that's unsanitary. I don't do that type of stuff, but I'm cool and I understand. Because I tell people all the time, there's a huge difference in being cordial and being friendly. I'm cordial with everybody, everyone. I will speak to you. Sometimes I speak to you knowing that you don't want to speak back to me, and if you don't, I'm cool. If you speak to me, the least I can do is speak back. That's being cordial. You trying to have small talk with me, or you trying to talk about something, this, that, and other, that's where I draw the line. Bro, I was cordial. We're not friendly. So I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm cool with that. I don't hate you, because I don't hate nobody, but I'm gonna keep it moving. So I say all that to say this, B. Let's hop into this clip.
Finish their blocks.
What are the challenges for a coach when pushing away outside noise? I know that was a topic yesterday. What are the challenges, and is there a balance between like positive outside noise and negative outside noise?
No, it really doesn't matter. I mean, here.
B, before I'm gonna start this thing over, right? Let me see if I can do this. Hold on, B. Let me see.
Finish their blocks.
Let me do it. I gotta see how I can do it, B. Hold on one second. Nope, can't do it that way. Got to get us back right here, because I was trying to see if I could do it to have us on the screen. It's gonna blocks. So my bad, B. I was trying to get on there where we could, and I didn't lay this out the proper way. Anyway, but B, I stopped it right there because I have a question. Did you hear the question? Let me play it one more time.
I did. Go ahead.
Finish their blocks.
What are the challenges for a coach when pushing away outside noise? I know that was a topic yesterday. What are the challenges, and is there a balance between like positive outside noise and negative outside noise?
No.
B, what is positive outside noise? No, B, what the hell is positive outside noise? There's no such thing in sports as positive outside noise.
I think what he's trying to say is, like, well, look, I don't understand the premise of the question about what is the balance between, like, the balance between it is something is good. I think he's talking about not reading your own press clippings, because when they eventually follow up, their whole point is, well, you've gotten positive coverage. And so in his mind, it sounds like noise can be positive or negative. To you, noise is usually and typically only negative. So now we're doing a words thing with noise, but I think what he was trying to say was, what is the balance between positive coverage and negative coverage, praise and criticism, like you said, which is probably would have been a better way to word it. But also, like, I don't like, and this is where I got exhausted, like with everybody, because I'm like, and I'm not trying to tell, no, I wouldn't try to tell you how to do your job. I'm not going to try to tell Landry how to do his job, in part because I know what y'all are doing. You know, I'm of this as well, and so like I just wouldn't disrespect the game like that. But man, when I heard that, I'm like what are we? What is this? What's the balance between good and bad?
I don't know.
In between, I guess. I mean, neutral. You know, like
right.
I wasn't really sure. I'm still trying to figure out like what is it that we're looking for, and how is it that we got to this point of like got to keep going back to this well of like, hey, DeMeco, and I thought it was fine when you did it, but like we keep doing it. Hey, DeMeco, what you think about us talking shit? Hey, DeMeco, what do you think about us kissing your ass? Hey, DeMeco, what like? Honestly, I don't like. I just want to say this. This is me talking for a second here.
Yeah,
I don't care honestly what he think about what I think. I care about what is he gonna do about Jackson Smith and Jigba running butt naked wide open. What is he gonna do about them rotating left guards 7 games into the season? What is he gonna do about this first year offense? And you asked about this. What about your first year offensive coordinator still kind of learning on the job? What about these rookies and trying to figure out a way how to get them involved? What about Nico Collins not getting like? I care about the shit. I don't give a shit about what he and this is my thing. And I would say this, like, this is not me giving advice, but I would say this to everybody. If you got a criticism, I'm sorry, let me say this again. If you have a criticism, ask a question that is germane to your criticism, which I think you basically did with the Kaylee thing the day before, you know, after the game. But otherwise, I'm not here for these like vague inferences on outside noise. Like I felt like you asked that question because you had legit criticisms, like you were part of the noise that you spoke of, right? Yeah. Now the way you worded it, but like that's why you asked that. This so the follow-up is like, okay, so what is the criticism? It's like it's just a generic question of how do you balance good and bad press coverage? Like I don't, or are we talking about press coverage because we're just calling it noise? So who are we even talking about? This is the issue that I had with all of it. Was I think you knew what you meant, and DeMeco decided kind of what he meant. But then once we kept playing the telephone game, now it was like lost in translation. Who are we even talking about? What are we even talking about at this point? Once we get to the third and fourth version of the question, what are we saying? What noise? What coverage? Positive, negative? Who are we talking about? And so that was the part that got me frustrated. Was like I felt like we was like kind of like going in circles.
Yeah, and being in the way that I looked at it, and this is just me because like the one thing that I can say that I've been gifted with from God, the talent that I've been gifted with is I have a very, very, very keen sense of listening to comprehend, not listening to respond. I'm listening to comprehend. I'm listening to understand. And I'm going to be honest with you because, like I said, I was at the Rockets. So I didn't know none of this was going on until I started seeing it on social media. I did not hear when I get ready to finish playing the clip, I didn't hear this exchange until the second half of the Rockets game when I just so happened to be in the media workroom. And I said, you know what? Let me go listen to this thing right quick so I can get myself caught up because it was dominating my timeline. I said, so you know what? I got the FTP. Let me go download it and let me hear. I don't want to hear nobody's clips. Let me go listen to it for myself. That very first thing baffled me. So now I'm listening and I'm confused because I automatically hear positive noise. And I was like, we are in a sports setting, and there's never been a time where noise has ever been positive. There's noise. The word noise in the sports realm, sports world just means negative. So that automatically threw me off. But B, let's finish playing this thing.
Finish their blocks.
What are the challenges for a coach when pushing away outside noise? I know that was a topic yesterday. What are the challenges, and is there a balance between like positive outside noise and negative outside noise?
No, it really doesn't matter. I mean, here you can see it's a lot of negative talk about us. We get it. I hear people try to give it to me all the time. I get it, right? It's like, but it really doesn't matter, right? I talk about it. Everybody wants to write a hot story, and most of the time it's negative stuff that people want to talk about, right? Nobody wants to talk about the positive stuff that happens. And again, if you feed off of that and you're riding the pendulum of, oh, we're great because we won, oh, we suck because we lost, fight, like that's our business. I get it. But that's the nature of it. We keep moving forward. Really, it doesn't drive anything. It means nothing, literally nothing to what we're about. Like it does nothing to drive our team. We just got to go out and play good football.
You don't think you've gotten any positive stuff?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like the first 2 years.
You don't think you've gotten any praise at all?
Guys, what's your question?
I'm just saying, like, everybody says negative.
I said that's what people thrive on is the negative stuff. Yeah.
You don't think you've gotten any positive?
I said people thrive on the negative. You guys are good. You guys must be the ones with the negative stuff. We're playing football. You talk about outside noise. I'll say it again. It doesn't matter. Good, bad. It doesn't change how we prepare. It doesn't change our week of preparation. We're going to work. We're going to work our best, the game plan our best, and go out and play good football.
Well, but for your first couple years and a half, like you've gotten nothing but positive coverage for the majority of the time. So when you say everybody wants to focus on the negative and not write about the positive, I don't know if that's – how is that accurate when you've been here for a couple of years, you've got a lot of positive coverage?
You guys good?
Do you pay much attention?
B, I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm just gonna say this because I know where you from. Hey, you remember on that? On Kendrick Lamar? Is it which one had
good kid, Mad City? I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know where you from. Yeah, where your mama stay or where your grandmama stay.
Where your grandmama stay. Yeah.
He said, you good? Like when I hear you good 2 times, I'm like, yeah. I know what he really want to say. I broke that thing down. I broke it down and I said, he said you good twice. Oh yeah, I already know what that means in street terms. But B, tell me what you thought about that interaction, B.
Man, it's just bizarre. It's so bizarre because look, I actually, if Landry and DJ's point is, and it seems like it, man, how dare DeMeco talk about everybody want to be negative, and for the most part, the coverage has been positive. Like, I can understand where they're coming from with that. Like, hey, man, we, for the most part, this is a non-hostile, like until the end, apparently. It's been, for the most part, a non-hostile and mostly positive relationship and interaction. So like, if that's their point. But then also, like, the interview subject, and in this case, that's DeMeco Ryans. It's not uncommon for them to speak in generalities about negative press. And the question, to be clear, again, was about balancing positive and negative noise, as he called it. But he's talking about positive and negative input, or like positive and negative reaction to their play and analysis, right? Criticism versus praise is basically what we're talking about here. And look, man, the dude, if he being criticized, he gonna say something negative about being criticized. He gonna say something adversarial to being criticized.
Yep.
And I think in an effort to do that, DeMeco spoke in a generality. I don't think he meant literally every single person wants to write something negative. I don't think he meant literally everybody is negative. But when we talk, we kind of just say, we kind of sometimes just use words, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're not always meant to be literal. They're just kind of fill in. And it seems like his words were taken very literal of like, well, the coverage actually been positive. Well, you know what? Okay. I ain't talking about you. Yeah. I'm talking about somebody specific. Now, maybe somebody should have asked me about somebody specific. Maybe I should be specific about who I'm talking about. But but if you feel like your coverage been positive, then or that this does not apply to you, then let it fly. Just let it fly. I'm not talking about you then. Yeah. But it seemed like they internalized that and was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been positive the whole time. Which, first of all, I don't know if that's entirely true. Just to be clear. But yes. but also, like, it was weird to me because I thought the man's words were taken a little bit more literally than he actually. I thought DeMeco was talking very casually there, even though he was like, critical of the criticism. I thought he was kind of talking loose, and they held his feet to the fire for like very specific words. Well, you said nobody and everybody. Well, people just kind of say shit like that. That ain't. He didn't mean you, and you, and you, and you, and you are all negative. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's like when you say when Chris Brown said these hoes ain't loyal, he wasn't talking about every single woman you ever met. He was talking about somebody very specific. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, and then it would be like a woman hearing that song, be like, yes, I am loyal. Well, I wasn't talking about you. That type of thing.
Yep. And let me put this up real quick. And be like I said, I shut up because I did a lot of talking and I want you to be able to say what you want to say. But this is what Sarah says. I think the biggest thing was DJ said he's got a story if the season goes bad and the McNairs have a decision to make while him and Paul were cheesing about it. So I didn't see DJ's complete. I didn't see the complete show when DJ was on Paul Gallant's podcast. All I seen was the clip, right? All I seen was the clip. And all I said to myself was, that's interesting. And I kept it moving. I just kept it moving because sometimes, I know DJ in real life. So if there's something that DJ says that I don't like, then I'm just going to say it to DJ. Mm-hmm. Hey, I seen you on such and such show. You said this, blase this, blase that, whatever the case may be. So this is my thing, right? This is my thing. B, you've been in this game a very long time as well. I know that if I'm looking for something specific and I want to go viral with it, or if I'm looking for a clip. I just had this conversation with a colleague a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, do you want to go viral or do you want to report? Because that's two different things. Because you can go viral if you do the right things to go viral. You can go viral reporting, but you can also go viral, being a troll, poking at somebody or whatever. Now, and I'm specifically talking about the person that I was talking to. So to me, right, even if the question to DeMeco was about, I'm going to remove noise and I'm just going to talk about praise and criticism. And then DeMeco answers it the way that he answered it, right? At that point, just like what you said, and you said it eloquently, at that point, you know who you're dealing with. DeMeco knows all of the praise that the team has gotten, especially from the way that they went through the first year. The first year, he knows everything that he was damn near everybody was requesting to talk to him. The second year, he had the same type of success. The same, his team repeated the success, so he does know the praise. Now, that team has went through some adversity. This is the first time he's had to go through this type of adversity. And I said this on last week's show. But I introduced it during the summer. I said that the problem is the problem. If the Texans start out bad, I said this in summer. If the Texans start out bad, in which they did, I said he's a victim of his own success. Because if the Texans were 3-4 in year one, and the results they had in year one was in year three, it'll be right on schedule. But he exceeded expectations in year one and exceeded expectations in year two, especially coming off of what the Texans came off of with Deshaun Watson, with Bill O'Brien, Deshaun Watson, Culley, Lovie Smith. And coming off of that, he was able to have that type of success. And now this is the type of adversity. If this was year one, even the criticism or the quote unquote noise wouldn't have been as strong towards them, because we're like, hey, they're in a rebuilding year. Hey, this is their first year. You got a new offense coordinator, new head coach, two rookies, talking about C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. trying to become the foundation and the cornerstone of this team. But they exceeded expectations in year one. It exceeded expectations in year two. And now when you're looking at year three, and it's reversed from those first 2 years. So now, of course, he knows all of the praise that he got the first 2 years. And now this last year is going through some adversity. And it's one of the things I'm going to say this, and I wrote this down on my notes, B, and I'm going to let you talk in just a second. I said, the one thing about DeMeco is he's always, no matter what, he comes to the podium and he answers the question. Whether you like the answer or not, he's going to answer the question. He always gives praise to his team when they do good, and he shoulders the criticism when they do bad. And so that's what I couldn't understand as the exchange went on. I'm saying to myself, bro, this dude came in here and told, hey, look, whatever happens with the team is on me. He said that every week. It starts with me. It's on me. Me. So, yes, you should know when you're talking to him. If I'd have been there, I'd have probably been like, man, what are we doing here? This doesn't even warrant the amount of time after the first question, because it's like what you said, B. Oh, so y'all don't think we ever wrote anything? You don't think we ever wrote anything positive? At that point, when I heard that, I checked out.
Yeah, I mean, because that's not really what he was saying. It's like, it's what it sounded like he said, but if he was really listening, it's not what he was saying, you know. And also, as media people, we know that it's a little bit different on the inside from the outside, right? Especially in football, this us versus them, us against them mentality. And maybe that's what they were trying to play toward, or you know, placate a little bit of that. Either going back to the original question of balancing positive versus negative, or, you know, criticism versus praise. Like, how do they galvanize the team? How do they use some of that negativity to galvanize the team? Or how might they use some of the positivity to reinforce what they already believe about themselves? You know, like, so maybe that's what they're kind of getting at. But that's, I mean, once you asked it, he answered it. And again, like, the internalizing of what he said was the part that just did not make sense to me. Like, you would have thought, based on the follow-ups that he got, Okay. And look, because I actually agree with just the premise of, hey, coverage for the most part been positive of y'all, which mean DeMeco got, like, I understand where they're coming from with that, but you would have thought he said, hey, you, I'm talking to you. And he just wasn't, you know, and I guess I have enough conversations with people to know, like, when people say, hey, everybody's saying, or people saying, that they're not literally talking about everybody,
Right.
or you specifically, or us. You know what I mean? Like, they just and I do know this about Landry, having worked with him. I can say this: one of Landry's pet peeves, and I think in some ways it can be to a detriment, because sometimes you do have to talk in generalities, and it's okay to talk in generalities. But Landry doesn't like to generalize anything. Like, this would be a kind of a theme in his shows, is like, don't speak in generalities, be specific. You know, don't say people are saying, say who you're talking about. Like, that was kind of a thing of his. But look, he can hold that standard to, like, media people. DeMeco Ryan's up there just kind of answering questions off the cuff. And if he say everybody wants to write a negative story, but really he's talking about 2 people, 4 people, 5 people, not everybody, that's okay. Yeah. He can generalize. And I'm saying this as somebody that knows Landry and knows kind of his thought process and work with him. He don't want you to generalize. Well, damn it, DeMeco generalize. What you gonna do about it? And apparently what he wanted to do about it was make him be specific, or try to go back and forth with him as if he was specifically talking about him or that group of people. Like, to me, it seemed like DeMeco could have been talking about the comment section, the YouTube chat. He could have been talking about one person he heard on radio, TV, podcasts, internet. He could have been talking about anybody. He could have been talking about multiple items. We didn't know, and they didn't ask him. Like, I think a better follow-up would have been, well, where do you think if they even want to go down, I could have done without all of it. I'm just being honest. But if they want to go down this road, they'd be like, hey, where do you think some of the most unfair criticism has come from? Where do you think it's been? Where do you think it's been unfair?
Yeah,
you know, like something like that. But, like, you don't think you've gotten positive coverage? Like, I'm not even here to assume that he even freaking consumes the coverage, positive, negative, or otherwise. So, like DeMeco Ryans doesn't necessarily have to be as media savvy in terms of what every word is being said about the team, the way that we do, doing what we do, right? Like, Landry does, DJ Bieniemy does, you do, I do. We got to know what's going on, what people are saying. DeMeco got to know what is Sean Payton plan got cooked for him next week. What does he got? He got Clint Kubiak, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean Payton in back-to-back weeks. Yeah. Why would he be in the chat? Why would he be in the message board? Why would he be on Reddit? You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't. I hope not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't get it.
And B, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, on the flip side, that's the first time I've seen Coach get out of character, if you know what I mean. And I could tell that he was doing his. I feel like if that conversation would have taken place in a different setting, maybe the tone and the vernacular and the words would have been maybe different, you know. But no, I'm in front of a camera. I know I can't really say what I want to say, and I will say this because, you know, when he said, "Well, you guys act like y'all the negative ones," and so now he's flipping it back on it. But I knew that. I knew where that answer came from because hold on. I'm gonna play it one more time. I want you to hear something, and I'm gonna stop it when I'm gonna stop it when I think we hear the same thing.
Finish their blocks.
What are the challenges for a coach when pushing away outside noise? I know that was a topic yesterday. What are the challenges, and is there a balance between, like, positive outside noise and negative outside noise?
No, it really doesn't matter. I mean, here you can see it's a lot of negative talk about us. We get it. I hear people try to give it to me all the time. I get it, right? It's like, but it really doesn't matter, right? Again, I talk about it. Everybody wants to write a hot story, and most of the time it's negative stuff that people want to talk about, right? Nobody wants to talk about the positive stuff that happens. And again, if you feed off of that and you're riding the pendulum of, oh, we're great because we won, oh, we suck because we lost, fight, like, that's our business. I get it. But that's the nature of it. We keep moving forward. Really, it doesn't drive anything. It means nothing, literally nothing to what we're about. Like, it does nothing to drive our team. We just got to go out and play good football.
You don't think you've gotten any positive stuff?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like the first 2 years.
You don't think you've gotten any praise at all?
At that point, B, I'm like, if I was playing the role of DeMeco, I'm like, oh, so y'all trying to double team me, huh? Oh, it's 2-on-1. What do I do? All right, it's 2-on-1. That's cool. Hey, I'm ready for it. And then he started to respond the way that he responded, because it sounded like now you're jumping him. And I'm about to take you all behind, what do they call it? The fourth wall, the fifth wall? What do they call it?
Yeah, you're gonna break the fourth wall. Well, you're gonna take them behind the curtain. The fourth wall is when you break the fourth wall is when you look at the camera. So like when I do like this instead of looking at you.
Cool. I'm gonna take y'all behind the curtain a little bit, and I'm not going to divulge the entire conversation. But I said earlier, I know DJ. I know him personally. I just seen DJ this morning at the event that the McNairs were at, and that the majority of the defensive line was there, and Ed Ingram was there. It was hosted by ND Kalu. It was amazing. It was at the P Farm, B Alpha McConnell. They let me use the bathroom. Them doors closed. I got claustrophobic. I was like, wait a minute, I can't breathe. Y'all gonna let me out of here, right? Because in the state, in the climate in which we live in now, they may start asking me for papers. So I digress. But I'm gonna take you all behind the curtain just a little bit. And I told DJ, and I'm not gonna tell you his response or how the conversation went, but I just want you all to know. Because I gotta say, I told DJ, I was like, I'm not so much harping on the question that you asked. I wish that you just would have waited. Because when Landry is talking and you are talking, y'all talking at the same time, it sounds like you're attacking. And anytime that and I can only speak for the couple of people that I know, right? But for the most part, the men that I know, or the ones who identify as men, if they feel like you attacking them and it's 2-on-1, you double teaming me, I'm going to respond. And so I felt like DeMeco responded in the best way he knew how when you got two people coming at him at the same time. I felt like if Landry was going to follow up, let Landry follow up and say what he had to say. And then just as eloquently as you said and asked that last question, that's how it should have been, because it breaks up the question and it doesn't look like he's being double teamed at one time. It's like he's going to answer Landry. And then after Landry finishes, you hop right in there with yours like you did, and you ask the question. But when both of y'all are talking at the same time, am I wrong, B?
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I would say the only pushback I would have on what you're saying, because what you're saying is kind of more of a matter of decorum, and so I'm agreeing with you from that standpoint. I would say though, like just in general, DeMeco Ryans can handle like you know what I mean? Like if it came down to it and he needed to, I would bet on DeMeco if it just came down to it. But like for me, man, so I agree. I think DJ could have waited on the hey, yeah, I was just about to say that, so da 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 da. But both of them, again, this is where my criticism of them comes in. It's like you don't have to play it again, but
Yeah.
but after so the first follow up was you don't think anybody's ever written anything good about you, and it was like, hey, wait a minute, literally not. Maybe you can take some of what he was saying and try to make that into what he said, but that was the part that was really kind of frustrating to me about it. They know that's not what he meant. I think Landry and DJ both, if they're honest with themselves, right? Because neither guy is unintelligent, neither guy is dumb. Okay, and obviously both have interacted with DeMeco before, but better yet, have just interacted with other human beings before. And we know people generalize. And again, I mentioned earlier, Landry does not like generalizing. But sorry, people do it. You know damn well that he's not saying that nobody's ever written a positive story about us ever. Like they
just written a positive story about him 3 weeks ago after they beat the Baltimore Ravens.
They took that and were like, so you don't think you get no positive coverage? Nah, he not talking about the positive coverage. He talking about the negative. That's what he talking about. So that was the part that was just, to me, I could have done without it felt self-serving. And that was the part I was disappointed with. It was like, they teach you, and Sarge, I know you self-taught in this business, but like when we go into J school, they actually teach you not to make yourself the story. Now, a lot of that has changed because we all got brands. We all got opinions. We all got reputations. Our pictures and faces and names are attached to everything. Like, things evolve over time. But the whole ethos of don't make yourself the story, I still think for the most part should apply, at least in press conferences. You're there to get information, to get them to speak on the record, so to get them to speak publicly on issues, right?
Yeah.
You're not there to kind of become a story or to make it about you, or do you like my coverage or do you not, or man, the hell with all of that. That's just not what we're here for, and it did feel to me. So you don't think anybody's ever written anything positive about you? Come on, man. That's not what that's not what he's saying. You know that.
And I don't know where you go. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm curious when we get out there, when we get to practice into the press conferences on Wednesday. What is the tone going to be like now? Where do we go from here? And I understand. Listen, I know that they had a conversation off the record, right? I know that after the podium, that DeMeco had a conversation with a couple of them, and I definitely understand that part. I just, like I said, I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go from there, and I don't know. How can I put this? I don't know I don't know where you go from there to be, and I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm confused on why the question was even brought up again, because how you say, Landry has a pet peeve about how you say he has a pet peeve about people speaking in generalities, and this ain't no shot at DJ and this ain't no shot at Landry. So let me preface my statement by saying that I'm just talking because you said about his pet peeve. One of my pet peeves is if DeMeco speaks on Monday, right? And for the most part, everybody with the credential gets the FTP, which is the video from the press conference. What I've kept playing, what I kept that clip is from the press conference. Everybody gets the FTP files to download the video.
I get it. Yep.
And everybody gets the transcript so you can read.
Yep.
One of my biggest pet peeves is if DeMeco has been asked a question on Monday, how do you come back on Wednesday and ask him the same question that he was just asked on Monday, which means that you didn't watch the press conference, you didn't read the transcripts, and now we're rehashing something else. And so, with that being said, from Sunday, him answering my specific question about the noise, I don't question anybody's style of how they ask questions, how they get how they try to get the answer that they get. But what didn't he say on Sunday that needed to be asked again on Monday?
Yep, man, I could agree with you. I thought it was asking that, and again, so I'm with you there. Let's just start there. I'm with you on that. I had no use for this question, much less his answer, which is really the frustrating part, because once the answer goes left, so now DeMeco looks. Now nobody looks good now after this, because everybody, because I feel like everybody, is like unnecessarily tense, and so nobody came out of that looking good, I thought. But to your point, like, again, I didn't have too much of an appetite for the question or the answer by the time we got to it.
Yeah.
But then also, even within the question, he answered the question again.
Yeah.
He answered it. Like, and I think the part, and again, you don't have to play again, but the part where he ends it at, like, it literally doesn't matter to us. It doesn't affect us. It doesn't, basically saying it doesn't drive us, and it doesn't, like, he said it literally doesn't matter. He said that. I thought he gave a little bit more of an inflammatory answer to you the day before, where he's like, man, we wouldn't ask these fools for advice, basically. Right? We wouldn't. But then in this,
play professional football with me.
Exactly. And then so he did that the day before. And then in this one, though, he goes and says, it literally doesn't affect us. That's what he said. Yeah. And I've always said, when you ask the question, you don't get to pick the answers. Okay? You either asking the questions or you giving them. But when you ask the questions, you don't get to pick the answers. Okay? That's the way it works. That's the rule of engagement. Ask the questions, don't get to pick the answers. So they asked the question. He answered it. Mm-hmm. And so then there was more. So at that point, we're already one follow-up past where I feel like we need to be.
Yeah.
We're already one follow-up past where I feel like we need to be. Then we got to 2 follow-ups past where we need to be. Then we got when he said, you don't think nobody ever wrote nothing good about you? Okay, so now we 2 follow-ups past where we need to be. Then DJ comes in and with his part, I was gonna say that. Now we're 3 follow-ups past where we need to be, and so now it's like we're all weird now. Everybody's weird. Why? And I would end it with this. I'll throw it back to you. Why are we being so weird, guys? Why are we being weird? Like I would ask this. I'm looking into the camera right now because, like, I said this. I know all of these people. I know everybody that we're talking about. I know personally.
Yep.
Wow. And I just want to say, why are we being weird? Why?
And what makes it even more baffling to me, and like I said, you know what? God works in mysterious ways. Because if I'd have been there, I'd have probably been like, afterwards, I'd be, hey, what are we doing? I probably would ask that, which would have probably, because those are grown men. DJ and Landry are grown men too. So, I mean, they ain't gotta like what I say, and they could have responded, and and then, now we're having a conversation, not anything violent or hostile, but we're just having a conversation because, I mean, they may have taken it the wrong way too, when I really didn't mean it like that. But my thing is this, B. Both of those guys who are asking this question, right? Both of these guys who are asking and following up these questions knows that every Friday we talk to DeMeco off the record. Every Friday We have a conversation with DeMeco off the record. If you want to hash some of that out, if you want to hash it out or whatever the case may be, then you show up to the off the record, then you ask the question. Because now, because are you trying to get a genuine answer or are you looking for a clip? Remember what I said in the beginning. Are you reporting or are you trying to go viral? If you really want the answer, I'm going to tell you like this. This past off the record, I had a question during the week that I really wanted to ask. Two questions that I really wanted to ask DeMeco. But those questions would have gotten me viral, but it wouldn't have meant nothing to the overall totality of what I needed. I need those questions. I don't need those answers in order to put in none of my work. I don't need it. I don't need the answers for none of that. So I waited. And when we got it off the record, when everybody was done, I asked them the question because I want these genuine answers for myself moving forward. Now, these questions I asked you, I hear what you're saying. Ain't no cameras, ain't no mics. It's just people in the room. Ain't nobody around to clip nothing up or whatever the case may be. I'm genuinely asking you a question, and you know that because the questions that I asked you, I could have asked you during the week, but you'd have been on camera. My whole thing is this too. My whole thing is I don't want to ask you some questions. I don't want to ask on camera because you're going to give me coach speak. Like you're going to give me coach speak, but I really want the answer. I don't want the clip. I don't want the clip. I don't want is virality a word?
Yes.
I don't want the virality. I don't want that. B, I have kept you entirely too long. If you got something, because I'm gonna shut up. If you got anything else,
I'm having a good time, man. We sit down chilling. This how cookouts go. This how family reunions go. This how family and friends day be. You know what I'm saying? This how it go, man. I'm good. We good.
For sure, man. Well,
but yeah, no. Look, I do want to say before we get out of here, man, that I respect the so newsflash, I don't get to be around as much as I used to, right? I got multiple jobs, I got single parent, life has changed. What'd you say?
You Jamaican. You got a bunch of jobs.
I might as well be. And so I'll get to be around, but I understand and I know the job that's being done. I know the work. Y'all know me well enough to know that. Like I'm not some amateur, some schmuck. Like I know what y'all do. So, because I do it too, and I'm a part of. I still consider myself to be a part of the crew, the whole Texas media press corps. And I think y'all view me the same way. So, like I understand. I say all that to say I understand the job. I understand the challenges of it. I understand trying to figure out what are the high notes and what are the things that I want to prioritize from press conference to press conference. Knowing that we only got so much time and space to get this done. So I got a lot of respect for that, but that being said, it is why it surprised me that it went left that way, and I wasn't even gonna bring it. I'm glad you brought up the Friday off the records because that was in the back of my mind. I wasn't even really sure, like, I wasn't even gonna bring that up, but I'm glad you did because I did think about that. Like, why not? This seems like something like this didn't seem like we really needed to waste everybody else's time. Oh, you don't think that you get positive coverage? Again, look, before I go, who gives a flying flip? You know what I mean? Like whether DeMeco Ryans thinks or like whether he's reading the proper balance of positive and negative coverage, or whether he actually knows if 70% or 30% has been positive or negative and vice versa. Like, who knows? Who cares? I'm gonna be honest. I don't, and I doubt very seriously that the people that read ESPN.com or listen and watch the Locker Room and SNL that he do, and that and that listen to the Texas tailgate, that listen to that watch the happy hour, people at the B Block podcast, people that listen and watch Sports Radio 610. Like, they don't know. I don't think nobody was sitting up after they beat on the 49ers, dominate them, had a ball 40 minutes compared to the 49ers 18. Okay. And at the end of it was like, you know what? I wonder if DeMeco thinks they've ever written a positive story. I wonder if DeMeco knows the proper balance of positive versus negative coverage of the Houston Texans. No, nobody thought that. Nobody. Until now, obviously, over the last couple of days, probably think about it now, but going in, nobody thought about it. Nobody gave a damn. What they need to do is strap up for this Denver Broncos defense is about to come into this into NRG State. I like where the offense is at and some of the signs that they've shown. But the last time they went up against a good defense, the 49ers were not that, by the way. Last time they went up against a good defense, it did not look great. So I want to see what it looks like this time. That's the type of stuff that I want to talk about again, not being the one to tell other people what they should ask and talk about. But I just did not see this being it.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is, I'm trying to find something real quick. The early part about it is, the crazy part about it is, they caught another break this week with Patrick Surtain being out.
Yeah, that's right. I saw he that boy got hurt twice in that game.
Yeah,
he went out. I saw like twice in that game. But yeah, they're gonna get bailed out. They're gonna get bailed out a little bit by not having to deal with him. And we'll see. Like I don't know. Let's see, today was Tuesday, so I guess we'll find out on Wednesday and going forward. Have we heard anything about how serious it is with Nico?
We're gonna find out on Wednesday.
We'll find out. Yeah. So, because those things would cancel if Nico for some reason was still out and Surtain is out. That those two facts would obviously cancel out, right? They're both those types of guys. So we'll see.
I was trying to look. I think it is somewhere in here, but I just gotta find it. Hold on one sec, because I want to close us out on that the whole "Are you good?" Hey, I thought he was gonna say, "Are you cool, bitch?" That thing is gonna, "You cool?"
Yeah.
Hold on for a second. I'm trying to. Oh man, where is it? And
while you looking that up, I do want to point out, because this was my tweet that went semi-viral for what mine would go, was because I want to say we might have mentioned Joe Mixon earlier. I was one of the people to lay eyes on Joe Mixon. I did not approach him because he was about 10 people ahead of me. Yeah. But obviously I know what Joe Mixon looks like. Joe Mixon knows who I am. We made eye contact, did the head nod thing that brothers do. But he was dapping up fans, and he was not in a boot and did not have a noticeable limp. I can report this not exclusively because it was, after all, there was no less than 80 to 100 people around, and I did talk to a couple of fans. We were on the escalator, right?
Yeah.
Coming down from the club level, and he was about 8 to 10 people ahead of me, like going down the escalator from the club level. And so I was standing next to some Texans fans and was like, "Hey man, y'all see that?" I didn't know these people. I just knew they was Texans fans. I was like, "Y'all see who that is?" They were like, "Yeah, that's Joe. It's Joe." And so we started kind of whispering like, "Let's see how he walks." Once because we just standing there on the escalator. We all look healthy. You know. So it was like, let's see how he walks when he gets off. And no noticeable limp. No walking boot. But I did mention this to somebody before, like, we can say that, it'd be accurate, but we also, with such little information on the injury itself, I would say that it's hard to really say what that means, him not limping or him not being in a walking boot. Because frankly, since we haven't seen him and we haven't really heard much, I don't know how long he ain't been limping. or how long he ain't been in the walking boot, and how much of an issue that really is, because obviously we're talking about playing football, not just walking off the escalator. So, or walking around the stadium to get to your club seats. So yeah, for what it's worth, laid eyes on Joe Mixon, only noteworthy because ain't nobody really seen, bruh.
Because he's been in and out as far as his rehab is concerned, in and out of actually in and out of the state of Texas, actually.
Yeah. So
the other night, the other day at the game.
Say it again.
That's why I seen so many of his tweets, because that's the first time I seen him tweet like that in a minute.
Mm-hmm. He was live tweeting from the game, from his club seats, I imagine. So
man,
yeah.
So I found what I was looking for to close this out. I just want everybody to know that just because DeMeco Ryan is from Alabama, he doesn't fit that negative connotation that people put around people from Alabama. He's not a Bama. Just because he's from Alabama, don't make him a Bama. I think he was like he won some awards in college for academics. High school, he got awarded because of his academics. So he's very smart and he's very calculated. And so, dang, B, it'll be like, we're looking like it'll be next year, week 10, and he do something that reflects back to right now. You good? B, I'm sorry, B. And like I said, I know you got to go, B, but like, for me, I'm just like, when I hear you good, when I heard you guys good the first time, I'd have been like, okay, because this can go one or two ways, and I ain't trying to. I'm cool. Let me just remember the environment that you're in. Remember, everything that's going on. Just take a step back and say, all right, there's another opportunity, and that's all I was telling. It's always for those people who are there regularly. Landry is there regularly. DJ is there regularly. This is going to be your only opportunity to talk to DeMeco Ryans. You're going to get a chance to talk to him again in 2 days. 2 days, you're going to talk to him again. Hey, let cooler heads prevail. Take a step back and then come back. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to go on Wednesday, B. Tell the people where they can find you, man.
At the B Block Podcast, wherever it is you get your podcast, also on YouTube, on Sports Radio 610, twice a week. We do that on Wednesdays, we do that on Fridays, but also now we're on a little Rockets coverage on the Rockets Collective. Make sure y'all just follow us on social media to find out what days we're doing that. It's usually midweek. Rockets Collective on YouTube, as well as a little bit of Locked On Rockets as well toward the end of the week. So a lot of different places to find your boy.
B, you see what they say?
Would you rather hear him say that, man? We're not going heads up with DeMeco. Are you insane? Nah, we're not putting some pads on. What are you talking about? And look, Landry is tall and DJ is fast. Neither one of them wants to put on pads with DeMeco. That ain't even the count. That's a non-starter.
Man, DeMeco look like he can still play, bro.
Please.
He is in great shape.
Get out of here, man. Like, I don't know if he can run, but he could definitely, like, if they wanted to bring him in for some pass rushing downs or like specific, man, hell no, I'm good. I don't want, and I've shook DeMeco's hand. I try to hold my own, I ain't finna just let you. Yeah, I know I'm skinny and everything, but I'm gonna give you a man's handshake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you feel and you understand, you're like, wait a minute, this somebody that's just got a different workout regimen than what I got.
Yeah. All right, B, what's coming up on the next B-Block podcast?
All of this, man, and I'm glad this is actually kind of primed me up a little bit for it, but also, I want to talk about a couple of the surprises of the season, both positive and negative, with the Houston Rockets. So I think there are a couple of things that have been surprising that we've seen from the Rockets so far this season. There have been some things that have been disappointing. And then there's one thing that has been just about what we expected. And y'all can guess what that is. It's one new acquisition. I don't know. It might be the most noteworthy acquisition of all of the NBA.
I'm doing an article on Josh Okogie too. Yeah, great minds think alike, B.
I will say this. Josh Okogie is definitely one of those three things that I just described. He's definitely one of those three things. But you have to check out the B Block podcast to know what I'm talking about. So what you do.
And look, B, I'm telling you, I am doing an article on that should be coming out tomorrow on Rockets Wire.
Rockets Wire. Make sure you check that out. I mean, I'll say this before we go, man. Pleasantly surprised, like just kind of preview the B Block and y'all. So I did not have Josh Okogie impact player on my bingo card.
So
not to this degree. Not to this degree.
Real quickly, B. Hold on, because I have to do my own timestamps. So I had to write this down so I know when to go back and clip it up.
Oh yeah.
I did, B. And the reason why I did, because I watched him play at Phoenix. And I'm like, this guy fits the mold of Ime Udoka, exactly what he wants to do. Not a guy that's going to demand the ball a lot. Not a guy that you got to play every night. I mean, they started him against the Brooklyn Nets, but he's not a guy that you have to start, but you definitely want him in because he can't play defense, because he can't hit the open shot. But you also put him in a starting lineup with Kevin Durant because of the familiarity. Like the double big lineup we seen didn't fit KD's style of play. And in that game against the Detroit Pistons, when they pulled Steven Adams out of the lane and set him on the, and started rotating him in and out with Clint Capella. But when they went away from that double big lineup and let Tari Eason play the majority of that second half against the Detroit Pistons, that's when you seen KD at his best. KD had 14 points in that fourth quarter. And so you seen him play his best. So now what do you say? Okay, so we need to make sure that we're still getting Kevin acclimated to playing with Şengün, playing with Amen, playing with Jabari. So what do? Hey, let's get him somebody in the lineup that's familiar with him, where he likes the ball, where he's going to be, his movements. And Josh Okogie has played with him, and so he knows exactly what KD is going to do. All right, I know KD up there. Here you go. Bam. Or, hey, I know I got to play some defense, this, that, another. I got the ball, get out on the break, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be listening to that. But I do think that Josh Okogie was put into the lineup because of the familiarity with KD and because of the pace. And B, coming up on my next podcast, I'm going to tell you really quick before you leave what I'm going to talk about. You ready?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay. And I did that dramatic pause for a reason. Who is, after 7 games, the defensive MVP for the Houston Texans? Hold on. Will Anderson Jr. or Kamari Lassiter?
Now that's a great one. That's a great one because I wish I could give them Coles. I wish I could give them co-MVPs. I hate that either one of them would have to lose. That's a great discussion. Like right offhand, and of course Kamari had that amazing interception. But Will, I thought, was a game record throughout the entire game. Like, he's such an issue. Will Anderson is a problem. So it's Kamari Lassiter.
And Kamari ain't afraid to come up in run stoppage. He's not afraid to. He wants to be part of the action. So he's going to tackle. What was that? Against Seattle, he had 10 tackles. Against the 49ers, he had 7.
Yeah. He's all over.
He's not giving up a lot of receptions on that side of the ball, and be like I said, we could be in a whole nother hour. They're giving up that much, but here's one play. One before you go. One play that stood out to me. from Sunday's game. And it wasn't even anything that Kamari did. It was actually something. It was a play that Kamari got beat on, but it wasn't so much that he got beat on the play that I'm going to harp on. It's what he did after the play. So there's a play where they got a big gain, and I don't know if that was towards the end of the half. I have to go back and look, but he got beat on like a sideline pass or whatever. It was a pretty nice play, but you remember he got beat, and Kalen had to come over and push the dude out of bounds, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First thing, when Kalen pushed the dude out of bounds, and the first thing Kamari said to Kalen was, "That's on me. My bad. I'm gonna make he said, my bad." I seen him kept tapping his chest like, "That's on me. That's on me." And I was like, you got a second-year player taking accountability for his mistake and not blaming it on something else, not looking around going like this. I'm going to give you a better example. If you go back and you look at some of those early games against those early games, those first 3 games where he looked like he was out of position or got beat with CJ Gardner-Johnson, you're like, what are we doing here? There's one pass that they got a touchdown on. He turned, he looked like, and that's because CJ Gardner-Johnson was freestyling. But B, man, listen, I appreciate you giving me 2 hours and 35 minutes of your time. If you get any backlash, you know I got your back. Send them my phone number. Tell them they can talk to me. Or I got gas money if they want to go to Starbucks and sit down and talk about it. Just let me know.
Hey, if it's anything I'm equipped to deal with in this world,
it's smoke.
It's smoke. It's smoke.
Because I know, because your pops used to, I mean, we ain't gonna say what, but your pops used to, so he made sure you was, I got it.
There you go. You got it. You got it. Everybody got it, man. Hey, I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you later on.
All right, man.
All right. Brandon K. Scott. Always have an amazing time when he's on. And so I really appreciate y'all for being here. I'm gonna stay on for a couple of more minutes. And you know, I seen the chat going on. I tried to get to as much as I can. I love the fact, I tell y'all this all the time, that you all were able to talk amongst yourself. And you know, I love the interaction that you all have, knowing that sometimes I can't get to the chat, and especially when we have a guest, but I really appreciate that. So I'm going to make sure that I stay here a couple of more minutes. And if there's any questions, comments, or concerns that anybody has, I want to answer them to the best of my ability and see, you know, if I can give you an answer. So if you got any questions, let me know. I'm here. I got some work to do, but somebody told me that the Blue Jays won. Hold on. Did the Blue Jays win? I think they did. EJSB say, if you have to stick your arm in the elevator right before it closed, just wait on the next one, dog. That's hilarious. Mac Jones said on the double move resulted in a Kamari Lassiter interception. On the goal line, they jumped a double slant, and I asked for it. Juan kind of got banged up on the play before, so it's unfortunate. Usually he comes up with it. Good play by the DB. That guy's been playing well all year. Yes, he has. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. It's actually I heard what he said about that, right? Let me see if I can find what Kamari said, because I know I have it. Hold on.
It was cool. It was surreal just to be able to go out there.
That's not it. Hold on for a second. This may be it.
On that essentially game-sealing play that game, like, was that something that you focused on in practice?
Hold on, let me do it. Let me do it again.
On that essentially game-sealing play that game, like, was that that something that you focused on in practices?
It was a double move, so I knew that basically like I had got slants and breakers, kind of sit out routes earlier in the drive, and then eventually they were going to try and fool me or something like that. And he ran a hitch and go. I just played what I saw.
How does it feel to get there? I'm telling y'all, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Y'all know I know Will does his thing. But Kamari been doing his thing this year too, y'all. Like you got you have Derek, shutting down one side of the field, and some of these offense coordinators think it's sweet by running over running over to Kamari's side, and he letting you know ain't nothing sweet over here. There's nothing sweet over here. Like whatever. Look, I feel like Kamari said, "Hey man, whatever y'all was whatever you wasn't gonna do over there, don't do it over here. Whatever y'all was not gonna do over there, don't try to come over here and do it, because we don't play them type of games. No way, no how." I like that though. Let me see if I can find some more stuff. Shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays, man. I like the fact that they won. Oh, this is crazy. That is crazy. Hey, let me ask y'all something. Amari been cornerback one with stings oblique. I think he is a baller. Sweet like shredded wheat. Big Sarge, how do you feel about Woody being? I thought that he would already be RB1 with Joe Mixon being out. If we being 100%, if we keeping it 100, I felt like Woody, and I think that he's getting more and more. And I don't know if he's really ready to take over fully yet, because you still need Nick Chubb's veteran presence in there. But hey, he getting there. Let me see. You know what? Let me do this before I get up out of here, y'all. Hold on for a second. Y'all give me a second. Because on the when we were on the Texans cookout, they asked me a couple of weeks, I think when they were 1-3, do I feel like the Texans could make the playoffs? And I said yes. And then we talked about it again. And then I think I talked about it a little bit on here, but I want to go back now especially and look at the schedule, because with Patrick Surtain out, that takes a lot. Hey, wait, was he? I know he was all pro last year, but I only had one question. You good? Ricky says Dare and Damian Pierce shouldn't see any parts of the field. Patrick Surtain was what? All pro last year. I know that first team all pro. Who won Defensive Player of the Year last year? JJ Watt? Not JJ Watt. I said JJ. Good Lord, I'm getting sleepy. TJ Watt. Who won Defensive Player of the Year last year? So I thought that Patrick Surtain got a lot of awards last season. I think the playbook is the only thing holding Woody back. I've seen him be confused a few times in the backfield. You're right. Senior Boblé. He's still learning the playbook. Patrick Surtain did win Defensive Player of the Year last year. That's what I thought. I was like, did he win? My brain has a lot on it right now. But I was like, I thought he won Defensive Player of the Year. But anyway, with him being out, that's going to really, really hurt. That's going to really, really hurt their defensive backfield. Their defense as a whole, but definitely their defensive backfield. That's definitely going to hurt them because of the amount of things that he's able to do on the defensive side of the ball. He literally shuts down an entire side of a field. He takes out your best wide receiver. Don't even think about throwing it to your best wide receiver when he's in the game. And so now, what's the young man's name that plays on the oh God, fight. I go to bed. I gotta fight. What's that young man that plays on the opposite side of him? Wait, Cooper DeJean plays right, and then it's Riley Cooper. You know what, Sarge? You got this big fancy thing called a laptop right here. Just look, my boy. Depth chart. Just look, my boy. Riley Moss. Ooh, dear Mr. Moss, you about to get it. They about to really see if you really good or you just benefit from playing on the opposite side of Patrick Surtain. Sheesh. Ooh. They ain't got no good. I do like Nick Bonito, though. All pro. Nick Bonito, balling. I think that, and I mean, if we're keeping it a buck, I think that the Houston Texans defense can turn Bo Nix into Mac Jones. Who? So they can get past Denver. They play Jacksonville here. Then they travel to Tennessee. If they can get those 3 games, and they go into the matchup with Buffalo at 6-4 on that Thursday night matchup, I feel like that's going to be a good test for them for building up some type of momentum, because they got 3 tough games. After these next 3 against Denver, Jacksonville, and Tennessee, they play Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Kansas City. Oh, good Lord. I got to travel to Indianapolis and Kansas City on back-to-back weeks. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, so I got to go to Phoenix, San Francisco. It's Thanksgiving. I turn right back around and get on the plane to go to Indianapolis. Y'all pray for Sarge and send him some money for lunch. Let's see. Yeah, he's getting there. Sarah. I want to know what is Nick the OC will do when we have our wide receivers healthy. Yeah, that's going to be a good problem to have too. EG, I'm going to start calling you EG. That's what they used to call. We'll talk about that another time, Eric Gordon. But here's another question. What the hell is up with Kirk? I don't know. Sean, I don't know. I want to know too. Because one of the knocks on him coming in to this season was he's injury prone. And he has lived by that. I can't tell you the last time Christian Kirk played a complete season. I can go look it up, but by the same token, I'm saying to myself, it's been a while. It has been a while. They better give Tay Bills or cheeks. No, you got Josh Allen is not cheeks though. To leave no doubt to her. Why are the Texans favored against them? The Texans are favored against the Broncos because Patrick Surtain is out. He's normally the guy on the defensive side of the ball that when Bo Nix messes up on the offensive side of the ball, he is part of the reason they get the ball back. Between his coverage, Nick Bonito playing the linebacker position, and even Riley Moss. When Surtain is on the field, Riley Moss, he balls out. We're gonna about Ricky. Trade Kirk. Kirk misses games historically. Wrong college. Wrong college for who? Did I say anything about colleges? Did I say coming out? Because Christian Kirk went to A&M. That I do know. Did I not say that? I thought I said coming into this season. That was it. I don't think I ever said coming out of Jacksonville or coming from Texas A&M. Did I? I never mentioned who I said the wrong college about. Yeah, I said I said coming into the season. I never said him about what college. Sarah, that is a good question. If we win and Jags lose, our record is tied. When this game, he went to the wrong college. You saying he went to the wrong college as far as going to A&M? Yeah. I gotta get credit where credit is due. A&M is kicking ass. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the only thing that prevents the UT A&M game from being a bloodbath is just the rivalry within itself. The game is going to be big, and I'm pretty sure A&M is going to step up, but it may not be until late. But I think it's going to be a close game, and at the end, A&M is probably going to pull away because it seems like right now, I think they're the number 3 team in the country. They're the most well-coached team in the SEC. They're the most well-coached team. They have a bunch of talent on both sides of the ball. So, yeah. Thoughts on Njoku? Hey, that's the tight end from Cleveland, right? Hold on for a second. Give me a second. That's the tight end from Cleveland, right, Njoku? So here's my thing when it comes to him. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I do. David Njoku, right? Just want to make sure I had the right guy. I like him. He's a big body. He can block. The only thing that the last couple of times I've watched him, and I don't know how many he has on the season, and, the last time I watched him, I think he may have had multiple drops, or he wasn't like, it was something that I was watching. I'm saying this was before Flacco got traded. I was like, something ain't. Is he in the wrong spots, or did he not? Why he ain't catching the ball, or why does it look like he's not running the right routes? I think that he's a physical specimen, Sarah. I think that he is a big body, a big target. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched enough of him on a consistent basis to know what type of run blocker he is. I don't know what type of run blocker he is. So but I do know that he would be an additional big weapon for CJ. But let me say this, right? I'll write this down. Yeah, and I seen what you said. UT offensive line is awful. Yeah, and they really young. That's why I don't want Arch Manning to even think about coming out no time soon. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go to sleep. I gotta get ready to go to sleep. What was we about to talk about? Oh, okay. In all honesty, I don't think that the Houston Texans need another tight end, especially with them getting back. With them getting back cased over here probably in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't have that confirmed yet. I'm going to try to see if I can get the answer. But I think he should be back within the next couple of weeks. And so if he is, that gives you that. I don't know if I would trade assets. Maybe there's a couple of players that could be up for trade. And if the Cleveland Browns are willing to take that, I mean, we know, they was willing to take Deshaun Watson, so they probably will be willing to take anything Nick Caserio offers them. But that's neither here nor there. If you want a tight end for the Houston Texans, why do you want another tight end for him? And I know that bringing in Njoku makes him the most talented wide receiver, most talented tight end on the team. But by the same token, you got to ask yourself, if you get Nico back, if you're getting Christian Kirk back, you can get Braxton Berrios back, and then you have the Cyclones, playing like they playing, in Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel. Like, do you really need to go out and get another pass catching option? Because I think that Dalton Schultz is serviceable. But then again, like I said, Njoku is a higher ranked talent than him. So I don't know. He's a great run blocker. They were putting him 1-versus-1 versus Steelers defensive end. That last game I watched, you said, "True, give me a new left guard, please." Yeah. Texas need another tight end. They only have 2 on the roster and the practice squad rookie. Yeah. You know what? That's a good question. What's up with Luke Lachey? I know the perfect person that I'm going to ask on tomorrow. Jason asked me, did you see Scatterboo get hurt? Unfortunately, I did. It was something that I wasn't prepared for, something that I did not want to see. But yes, I did see it. Not good. Thoughts and prayers. Oh, there's one more thing that I really, really want to talk about. But I'm starting to get sleepy. But I really want to talk about it. Because if I do not talk about it, I don't know. That's a good question, Sarah. I don't know if Tank is waiting until next season or not. You know what it is. Aggies look damn good. Marcel Reed looks like baby Lamar. He is amazing. And Concepcion, we're talking about A&M players now. Concepcion looks good as well. As a UT guy, I'm jealous. I'll trade you quarterbacks and head coaches. Go to bed, live to fight another day. Hey, well, hold on. Because I wanted to, but now I'm up. Now I'm up. Hold on for a second. Give me a second. Y'all know that I'm a huge Kendrick Perkins fan, right? And I like Perk not only just because he's from Texas, but I like Perk because he speaks his mind. He is who he is. He always gonna be who he gonna be. I like Perks. I really am a Kendrick Perkins fan. But I'm gonna play you all something that baffled me today. And I'm saying to myself, but why though?
ESPN ain't never saying I was cool with Ja at one point, but then when Ja started getting in trouble with some of his stuff off the court and shit like that, I had to speak on it. Man, Ja don't really fuck with me no more on that shit. But to be honest, in that type of situation,
and this is from the Out the Mud podcast. This clip comes from Out the Mud podcast.
I don't fuck with Ja. And you know why I don't fuck? I fuck with his daddy, but I don't fuck with Ja. You know why I don't fuck with Ja? Because it's like, bro, the reason I'm so mad at you is because ESPN packed up for a week. And when y'all had the city rocking. ESPN ain't never packed up and went down there, spent millions of dollars to go do an all access on y'all in Memphis. They did that for Ja.
They do that for
Bro,
us.
I was the one that was praising Ja. I was the one that said, hey, man, I came out and said, hey, look, we could redo that draft. Ja should have went number 1 and not Zion. All of a sudden, Disney bosses hearing me out. And we gonna do an all access, bro. We down in Memphis, shining light on you. ESPN don't never do that shit.
For sure.
We're knowing you the next chosen one. And you fuck up, guess what? Not only do that make you look bad, that make me look bad. Because they recognize you because of me speaking highly of you. It ain't no coincidence that you went from having 3 games on ESPN national television that you had 52.
Hold on, Perk. I'm gonna say you are definitely one of the spokesmen of putting Memphis on. For sure. But that guy is must-see TV.
I didn't say
the best shoe in the game right now.
Shout out my boy Ja.
Perk. You sound like you're on a perk. You sound like you're on a perk with that take. Listen, I wouldn't give a damn if Walt Disney was brought back to life right now. If he was reincarnated right now and was running ESPN. It don't matter who is at ESPN. Ja Morant is always going to be must-see TV. What are we talking about here? Kendrick Perkins? You let ESPN gas you up to think that it was you. Oh, I gotta take it down. We ain't talking about Njoku no more. You let ESPN gas you up to think that it was you that was pushing the narrative about giving more coverage to Ja Morant. Ja Morant. I ain't never seen ESPN pack up and go there. I seen him do that for Kevin Durant. What are we talking about? I seen him do it for LeBron. I seen him do it for Victor Wembanyama. I seen him do it for Giannis. I seen him do it for Jason Tatum. I seen him do it for Jaylen Brown. I seen him do it for Karl Anthony Towns. I seen him do it for Anthony Edwards. I seen him do it for Steph Curry. I seen him do it for Luka Doncic. Like, what are we doing, Perk? What are you talking about, bro? You chiefing. You chiefing before you go on these podcasts? Because there's no possible way that the powers that be at ESPN said, hey, man, I wonder what Perk thinks about Ja Morant. And if he is really high on Ja Morant, if he really likes Ja Morant, then open up the budget. Open up the checkbook and make sure that the budget is okay. You know, make sure he has a company car, company car, so that he can have everything that he needs to Ja Morant. We're going to reach out to the Memphis Grizzlies PR staff and say that ESPN would like to speak with Ja Morant. And it said Kendrick Perkins request that he be the one to speak to Ja Morant. You have got to be out of your I'm not gonna get too disrespectful because I gotta see you. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen Kendrick Perkins in person. Kendrick Perkins is a large human being. Like, Kendrick Perkins is a big dude. And I'm talking about height-wise and physical stature and makeup. He's a big dude. And I don't want no problems with him because he looks like if he grabs me, I ain't going to be able to get away. And I don't want to be that 53-year-old man on Sports Center with my arms going like this, like, let me go. Oh, you better not let me go. And then he let me go. He's like, what you going to do? And be like, bro, I just really want to go because I think that I can outrun you. So I was just trying to see if I could play the Jedi mind trick to get you to drop me so I could take off running. Because, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, bro. I'm not going to let you grab me again. I digress. Perk, don't ever make that take ever again in life. What I tell y'all, viral or reporting, bro, you're trying to go viral, which you have with that clip. Next, you're going to say, yeah, man, I mean, you know, me and LeBron, we was going to walk on the moon one day. But then, I told LeBron, man, I got a gravity suit, man. It's gonna keep us on, but I only got one. So, and I really want to go to the moon with you. So, we can't go to the moon together. Then, I don't want to go. He said the other day that he was the guy that kept the locker room together in OKC. He was the leader in OKC when they had Russ, KD, and James Harden. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Hey, I think Kendrick Perkins still got that suit that LeBron got him when he was in Cleveland. You remember LeBron made them all come dressed up in gray suits? I forgot who they were playing, but you remember that's the interview where it looked like LeBron was the rich auntie, he grabbing his bag, which looked like a person got up and walked out of the press conference. I wonder if Kendrick Perkins. I'm pretty sure, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm pretty sure he still can't fit it. And that's maybe because, he may have had a growth spurt or something like that, I wonder who still has they gray suits. I'm going to get down to the bottom of it because I know a player who used to have one. I got to find out. All right, let me see. Oregon Duck fan acts like the team is a part of their body. Is Cade injury prone? I don't think Cade is injury prone. He says Perk needs to stick to basketball and not comment on football like he did about the Texans. He is just an average fan at best. Must-see TV is Aaron Rodgers and Flacco. Oh, that's going to be horrible. That's going to be terrible. It's like the Metamucil Bowl. He talking like his words don't hold weight. Reckless. Perk on the Molly Wops. U of H defensive tackle number 5, Carlos Allen Jr. needs to be a Texan by next year. I haven't watched that man a lot, but I am going to watch him. I watched U of H play this past weekend against Arizona State. That was pretty good. I like what Willie Fritz has done for that organization. Perk is hilarious, and what is he even talking about? He got told he had a good idea in the meeting one time. Now he a partner. His CJ take on the Kiki Paul was terrible. Yes, it really was. It was hot poop. Let's see what Perk said. Yeah, man. The only reason these boys even thinking about Ja Morant because of me. The only reason, without Perk around here saying King Kong ain't got shit on me. Ja Morant. He acting like nobody knew who Ja Morant was or is. Excuse me. And then Ja Morant go get in trouble. Yeah, but he's still Ja Morant. He's still Ja Morant. And anytime ESPN can get an opportunity to talk to him and talk to him one-on-one, they're going to take it. They're not going to say, what would Kendrick Perkins do? Because if they want to know that, then they just wait and ask Stephen A. what Kendrick Perkins would do. It's another story for another time. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast. All one word. Oh, my eyes look bad. I look like I've been chiefing. You know what? I'm just going to end the show. I'm out.